Don't tell me what to do, sister. You heard me. By the way, I did notice that two things, that the complete sheet is on vacation for 3 weeks during Christmas. 3 weeks. And then I also noticed that Amy Daniels is on vacation for longer than that. What the hell is that?
It was her birthday yesterday.
Oh,
really?
The birthday. Well, happy birthday, Amy.
Oh, I feel terrible. I didn't know.
I feel terrible because I make fun of people all the time, and I actually really like them. So I shouldn't make fun of her the day after her birthday. But you are a pain in the ass, Amy. Let me just point that out. I can say that after her birthday, can't I?
Totally.
Yeah,
you can say it
yesterday.
on her birthday.
Yesterday was her special day. Not today.
Not today. Sorry. The clock is ticked, sister. That's all I'm saying. I see that Alec Baldwin almost got in a fist fight in New York because anti-Israel protesters went after him big time. So he's in a shouting match. I am surprised he didn't punch the guy because Alec Baldwin is well known for punching people. There's no doubt about that.
There's something, Tom, nostalgic about you saying, I didn't even know the context, but you said Alec Baldwin's in a screaming match in the streets of New York. I was like, that is as heartwarming as any Christmas carol you could pull out for me.
It's true. Again? Really? He's in a fight in the street again?
Oh, Alec.
Yeah, I know his brother Danny pretty well. Danny Baldwin's a great guy. You guys ever met Danny?
No, I don't think so.
We should probably have him come on sometime. He's a very funny guy, but all he ever done, whenever I used to have him on the queue, or he'd come into town and come on the podcast, all the rest of it, all he ever talked about is, so what have you been up to, Danny? Same old stuff, saving Alec's ass every 5 seconds. He's always getting in trouble. Then I have to come in and beat the piss out of somebody because he's kind of a sugar tit. I mean, it was wonderful. He's talking about his own brother. And they love one another.
Yeah.
They love one another, but it's just, oh my God. Alec is a little different than the other Baldwin brothers. There's no doubt about that.
He runs hot.
No question. And his wife can't decide which nationality, religion, skin color. She can't decide what she is. Because what is she now? Right now, what is she supposed to be?
So her name is, she likes to go Hilaria.
Hilaria, yeah.
It's
not Hillary, it's Hilaria. Yeah, it's Hillary.
It's Hilaria. And she was on an interview doing like a recipe, and it was under the guise of she's like Latino. Mm-hmm. And no, she never came out saying, hey, I'm Latino, but she go, how you say cucumbers is like one of her famous lines.
Yep.
Like, bitch, you know the word cucumber, okay?
No, that's absolutely true. I don't know. Why do people do that? To pretend to be somebody? Do they hate themselves so much they don't want to be themselves anymore?
I think for her, it was an in.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was an in. She was a server, and I think she went in New York, and that's how she met Alec. And I think it was her way of like sticking out, and I think it just kept working for her, and she just kept doing it.
Yeah,
she's from Boston.
Yeah,
what are we talking? Like, you know what cucumber means, lady? My God.
And Hillary, we can see you. Like we know that you're not.
She went to Cambridge and NYU. You know what a goddamn cucumber is, lady.
It almost feels like when girls will do the British accents. It's like she did that at a party once, and then she just stuck with it. Like somebody was like, "Oh, that's good." Like you must be Hispanic, and then she was like, "Yeah," and just stuck with it. See. How you say cucumber?
No comprende.
What a joke. You know what, though? What's amazing about it, all that work she does to pretend she's something she's not, I couldn't pick her out of a lineup. I have no idea what she looks like.
She's beautiful. None. She's like, she put out like 10 kids, and she looks beautiful. They have so many kids, too.
Oh, really?
And I don't know if this is a really bad comment, but I feel like there's going to be some regret because there was this big pushback in 2022 when we all found out that she wasn't Latino origins, but she named her kids all like Latino names.
Oh, Jesus. What a fraud.
Like Eduardo. And like, so part of me is like, do you regret it a little? Like you can't just now switch back to Hillary. Like you just have to commit forever.
And those poor kids are going to grow up, or I don't know how old they are now, but as adults be like Eduardo, and you're just some, random white kid sitting in class.
Yeah.
Have you explain this every day?
Here, I'm here, teacher.
Boston.
Kind of by coincidence, I just thought of something that happened to me yesterday. I had to have something notarized yesterday, right?
Oh.
Ooh.
So I go down to the notary, and she's a Spanish woman.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if she might have been Cuban, I think. I think she was Cuban. But so I give her the paperwork, and she said, well, there's a problem. I can't do this. And I said, why not? She said, because there are two different names on this document.
No.
I said, what do you mean? And she said, well, at the top, it says Tom Barnard, but at the bottom, it says Thomas Barnard. I said, yeah, that's the same name. She said, but there's no H in Tom. And I said, yeah, I know. That's how you spell Tom. And she was very pleasant about it, but she had no idea that Tom and Thomas was the same name. Not a clue.
I just heard a really funny bit about that with that Nate Bargatze guy.
Oh, yeah.
His name is Nate, and he was like, so at some point, I don't know when, on my Delta Sky miles, I decided I'm not Nathan, I'm Nate. And on my license, it's Nathan. And I might as well be a full-on terrorist every time I pull up. So, Tom, when you were saying that, I was like, does that happen often for you?
First time it's ever happened to me, ever. She said, well, why isn't there an H in Tom if it's the same name? I said, I can't tell you. I don't know. But in America, it's Tom and Thomas. It's not Tomas. See, she thought Tomas, which should have been my name. She thought Tomas was like Tom and Tom. How are you doing, Tom? I sound like William Shatner now. But she was very pleasant about it. But I'd never run across that before, that somebody did not know that Tom without an H is short for Thomas with an H. They don't know. Some people don't know that, I guess.
Yeah, if English isn't your first language, you definitely get a pass, because there's a lot of weird things that go on. Just like Richard and Dick never really made any sense to me. Like, no. So there's a lot of weird stuff like that. But Tom and Thomas is at least close enough where it sounds like she was able to figure it out and let you get on with your day.
I do know something, but now by coincidence, by the way, Catherine and I took a boat trip down the Mississippi about 10 years ago. Same thing happened. I got on and they gave everybody their name tag, and they spelled my name Thom. There must be a Spanish deal or something, but that's Tomas, isn't it? Tomas.
So
there's no H in Tomas.
Yeah, I know that's like European. I know there's some hockey players like Thomas Tatar. He has the Tomas, but he's like Swedish or something.
He's Swedish.
Yeah,
I like it. That works for me, is all I have to tell you. But yeah, I mean, it's it's not that big a deal. We're joined now by Jude from Score North. Yeah, this woman yesterday did not know that Tom, Tom, is short for Thomas, Thomas. She had no idea. She's, like I said, I think she was Cuban. I'm not sure, but
sure.
And that's Tomas in Cuba, I guess. So there is no H. But she insisted there were two separate names. I said, no, actually. She was very nice about it. Don't get me wrong, but it's the first time it's ever happened to me that somebody didn't know that Tom is short for Thomas.
Interesting. Yeah. I haven't, I guess I can see that. I haven't thought about that, and it wouldn't occur to me, but as a guy named Judd, who's been called Jeff and John his entire life, because no one could comprehend the fact that, like, in a crowded bar or something, when you say Judd, people don't hear Judd. They hear, ordinarily it's Jeff. Then I just say, okay, yeah, my name's Jeff. That's cool.
Well, the good thing about that is, though, when I was a kid, there was a big TV show about a lawyer, and it was called Judd for the Defense.
Yes.
Ever hear of it?
Oh yeah, yeah. I've heard of it. I've never seen it. Carl Betts. It's one of the rare it's one of the rare TV shows that is not circulated. I don't think I've ever seen it in reruns.
You're right, and then you think with all the streaming now that everything would be on television. It might be who the hell knows? It's probably hiding somewhere. I have no idea, but Judd for the defense. It's you know what? We can do a Judd and Tevin defense of our basketball team, because they pulled one out of their ass last night. Man, did you watch that game, Tevin?
How about that, Tevin?
Yeah. I mean, in like the Jimmy Butler revenge game, first time we've played him since he left. Yeah, I keep waiting for the letdown for this team, and it just doesn't happen. And so I think I'm finally to the point where obviously they're going to lose games eventually, but for right now, it feels good. And that kind of waiting for the other shoe to drop has subsided. And I think we can at least make it till the playoffs before we start to worry again.
They're really good. I've just decided they're just really damn good. And part of what I love too is they refuse to be bullied, which is not normal necessarily for teams in our town, but they absolutely, like the Heat have, Heat culture. It says Heat, Tom, it says Heat culture on their court. They pride themselves on this culture of toughness, and we're going to kick your ass.
Oh, yeah.
And the Wolves fell down by 17 a few times in the first half and came back. But the Wolves are just tough. Like, it's fun. They're good, and they're not going to be pushed around. And for years, my God, did they get pushed around.
They did indeed. Now, I have to ask you guys a question, an NBA question. I think it is, or maybe it's just college. I don't know. Is there a Swedish-looking guy in the NBA? Because he has very blonde hair. He's about 7'1", 7'2", something like that. You know who I'm talking? Is there somebody like that in the NBA?
Not that comes to that's blonde.
He's blonde. He looks very Swedish, actually.
Are you talking about Kristaps Porzingis?
Is that who it is? Is he that tall?
Yeah, I think he's Latvian.
Yeah,
he's Latvian. Well, he could be. Yeah, he could be.
He has kind of darker hair.
Does he?
I don't know of any blonde.
Laurie Markkinen is Finnish.
Players off the top of my head.
Markkinen, how tall is he?
I'm looking it up now.
He's got to be around 7 feet.
Did something happen that you saw on TV, Tom?
No, something happened in an elevator I got on yesterday. So I get on this elevator, and it's going down to the first floor, and it stops at the 7th floor. This guy gets on the elevator, and I look at him, and I realize his shoulder, not his head, his shoulder is about that much taller than I am. I mean, this guy was huge. I mean, he wasn't broad. He was kind of tall and skinny. But I could not believe how tall this sumbitch was. His shoulders were 2 inches taller than my whole body. Good God. So do you have any idea who that could? This guy definitely was a basketball player somewhere at some time, maybe just in college or something. I don't know, because you guys would know him. Like I said, he's about 7'1", 7'2". He's got blonde hair. He's very, he's lean. He's not, rail thin. He's lean. Very nice guy, very pleasant person, all the rest of it. But apparently his father lives right down the road or something. So he comes to visit his father every Christmas. But I wish I would have gotten his name because he's a really, really nice guy.
Well,
but
it's
man,
probably,
was he tall.
It's probably not an NBA player then because you wouldn't have time to go see family.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
So it might be a college kid on some type of break. But yeah, maybe. I would guess it's not a pro. The pro players don't. That's the one thing about their schedules, Tom. You don't have time to peel off. There's no time to peel off.
No, that's true. Yeah.
In season. In fact, the NBA now has 5 games on Christmas Day.
Oh God.
And I want to say LeBron James has played in every Christmas Day game for probably the past 20 years. It feels like every year, whether he was on the Lakers or the Heat or the Cavs, he was always the prime time slot on Christmas Day.
I can close the story with this. It's very, very hard to put off a tough guy image when you're standing next to a guy who's a foot and about 3 inches taller than you are. Holy Christ, that guy was big. Anyway, moving forward with the positive info we got from your Timberwolves, pulled off another one. It looked like they were going to lose. Got the piss kicked out of them in the first quarter, as you said.
Yep.
But they pulled it out, so that's great. I mean, is it the coach, Tevin?
Yeah, I think it has a little bit to do with the coach, but I also think that for years we kind of talked about Karl Anthony Towns and the rest of the team just kind of need to grow up and learn how to win. And it feels like, after the end of this last season when Rudy Gobert is, punching teammates in the face and McDaniels is punching the wall, Ant goes overseas and has a great FIBA World Cup, and Karl Anthony Towns kind of went on his little sabbatical of working out overseas. And it feels like over the offseason we really grew up and they realized, hey, we can't play the way we did at the end of the season if we want to be taken seriously. And now they're actually, I feel like they've grown up, and Finch probably has a lot to do with that. But it's all kind of coming together, and it's good to see.
I mean, every time I check in on them. They just pulled another one out. It seems like they're winning every damn game. I know they're not, but it seems like they are.
They're 20-5 though, so it's close.
Yeah,
20-5 is impressive.
It really is.
I also think in retrospect now that dust up, although embarrassing, between Gobert and Anderson, where Gobert punched him at the end of last season, actually might have helped in the long run, because I think stuff like that can either fracture a team completely and you're completely screwed, or it can galvanize them, right? Mm-hmm. And I think it actually galvanized things. I think that there were moments last year now in retrospect that probably helped shape this current team.
No, I can see it. Well, I'm back in the queue doing the morning show over there. Whenever anybody lipped off, Brittany would just go beat the piss out of them, and the things would settle down.
Good for Brittany. That's awesome.
She was the enforcer.
For you.
It was nice. It was also, I got my cardio in, got my heart rate up.
Sure.
It was just a daily occurrence. So
it was actually a daily occurrence on that show, by the way.
Also,
HR, I'm not even talking to you. Don't even bother with me. I'm not going to meet with you. I'm not going to talk to you. I'm just going to beat my coworkers up, and that's going to be that. Sorry, Tevin.
No, you're good.
All right. What else is happening in the sports world? Anything good for Minnesota at all? Timberwolves.
The hockey team lost last night, so that's not good. The Vikings are going to stick with the quarterback who put up some decent statistics, but submarined the game on Saturday.
Did he
so
ever?
That's not necessarily good. Although I'm telling you, so right now in the NFC, the conference the Vikings are in, Tom, there are 5 teams with identical 7-7 records.
No.
One of them is going to win the putrid NFC South, so they'll be the 4th seed. But the other 4 are battling for 2 playoff spots, and the Vikings are in, arguably, or they are in the best position of them, so they are still the 6th seed. It's amazing. It's like the Vikings blow these games, right? Like to the Bears and the Bengals, and the rest of the conference is like, well, hold on a second, we've got your back. We'll lose or we'll screw. Now Seattle did win last night. But the Vikings still remain in incredibly good shape for a team that is 7-7.
I'm telling you, like I said, huge Twins fan, but the Vikings are really not that far behind the Twins. I do like the Twins more, but the gap is not very big between the Vikings and the Twins. You'd think they could stumble into a Super Bowl win, wouldn't you?
Yeah. Well, and you'd think, I was thinking about this. How many teams, since the Vikings last went and lost in their 4th Super Bowl, how many teams in the league haven't been to one? Detroit, Cleveland, but Cleveland, the franchise moved to Baltimore. It came back, but it stopped for a 7-year period.
Yeah.
I don't think Jacksonville's been to one, but I mean, it's a very small list, and of teams that have actually, not taken a sabbatical or not been expansion teams. I agree. It's mind-boggling they can't accidentally end up in one.
Right. You would think, and accidentally win one somehow.
Yeah, well, that would be nice. But yeah, it's and this team is very Vikings-like in that fact that they refuse to make things easy.
That's very true.
They just refuse to make things. Everything they do is like pulling teeth this year.
It's all true, man. So that's everything. Sports looking good. Your life's looking good. Is that the ticket?
Yeah, my life's looking good. My life is because we're going to have a brown Christmas and the roads have no ice on them.
I know. Isn't that amazing?
Almost January 1st. And I'm going to admit, if I was 14, I'd be very disappointed. At 54, I'm thrilled.
I was talking to a friend of mine yesterday. He's from New York, and he's not in New York. Wasn't there for the La Nina or El Nino or whatever the hell it was. But apparently he got a call last night, or I guess yesterday afternoon, because I talked to him last night. Got a call. Apparently, he's not wild about this, but I think I'd be happy. Apparently his basement is now a swimming pool. So,
oh no,
the whole basement flooded, all of it.
Oh no, what a nightmare.
Oh man.
Oh, and how much is ruined?
All of it. He said it's all destroyed, the whole thing.
Oh my God.
You might have to tear the damn house down because it's that bad. That literally the entire basement is full of water.
Oh my God. That'd
be a little hard to deal with. So we're having a much better day than my friend is, don't you think?
Hell yeah. Are you kidding? Yes.
Nobody's flooded out or anything. Do I look weird when I lean back in my chair and it looks like I'm about one of the Lollipop Guild?
It looks like in those movies when they have the silver tray with the lid on it and they lift it up and it's like just the head sitting on the head. Yeah, that's what you look like right now.
You're right there, because even better. On the noggin, on the platter.
And Judd, I guess technically, it is sports related news. I feel like we should at least bring it up with the Anthony Edwards scandal with this Instagram model and him saying that, more or less demanding an abortion. I mean, very insensitive were the text messages, not necessarily anything criminal, but do you think there's going to be any type of distraction factor playing in for the Timberwolves moving forward?
No, because it's so off the court and it's got and here's the thing about that, and I don't mean to be flippant here, but it's going to sound it. Do you know how much this happens in pro sports?
Oh, it's got to be
like Sean Kemp in the 90s. Didn't he have like 7 children by seven different women? I believe Antonio Cromartie, who ended up with the Jets, he's retired, I think, now. But anyway, I think he had like 11 different kids.
Yeah, and Adrian Peterson was the same way.
Yeah. No, I don't think. I think distractions are more part and parcel of things that affect the team or are just out of the norm. If you get arrested, for instance, you become a distraction. But I think that if she hadn't put that out on Instagram, it doesn't get out, and his teammates might find out, and his teammates wouldn't be surprised.
No.
So of all the things I think you're allowed to throw an LOL after, not after getting abortion.
Yeah,
LOL.
If he would have showed just even an ounce of sympathy and understanding towards this woman, because she was like, I've already had an abortion. It didn't sit right with me. All he had to do is, I understand that, this is a very emotional decision to make. It's not something I take lightly. I just would prefer not to have a kid, and whatever, do more of a joint effort. But to just go LOL, send me a video of you taking these pills. Like, come on.
Send the video.
Why are you, and here's my question too, and I know why, but why are you texting about this? Like,
phone call works.
No matter how you feel, you should be making a phone call. 1, because it's the decent thing to do. 2, because then there's no trail.
Yeah.
Like everything else can be dug up or saved. And he is a fabulous basketball player. He is as immature as possible. And that's very, very clear. But the thing is, he comes off like, and publicly, a good guy. And Tom can confirm this because Tom's known a ton of guys that played sports as well. Never confuse an athlete who you like or their public persona with who they really might be.
You got that right.
There are some awful human beings who come off as good guys. Awful.
Oh, look at her, Beck. I mean,
Oh, yeah.
Let's start naming names.
Yeah. Let's go. Let's go to the 87 Twins. I remember one time I had a friend that I knew, and he grew up a huge Puckett fan. And so I started to tell him all about, Puckett behind the scenes, and he was just distraught.
Yep.
He was just distraught. And as I always, my go-to story is this. One of the nicest guys to me that I ever covered, really, really, really nice guy to me, was Darren Sharper.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
And he is now and he is now in jail and will never, I don't think, get out. So like that's the one where I never confuse what you think about an athlete with who they really are. Because the other thing too is we do not live in their world.
No, it's very, very true.
They're not civilians.
I have a question for you guys, because I'm thinking about this, having all these children and this one, and, we should have done this, should have done it. I never once in my life had unprotected sex with somebody I barely knew. There is no way I would have exposed myself to that. It could ruin your life. Now, these guys are multi-millionaires, so maybe they don't have to think that way. But the diseases and all that stuff. Don't you want to protect yourself against disease? I mean, you don't really know this person, do you?
I don't think they think about it, Tom. Like it's a great point. I don't think they think about it. I don't think they ever think about. I think part of being a young athlete, or perhaps not so young at times, is I think if this makes any sense, I think you go through life suspending your belief about things because you always believe that you can win.
Yeah.
Or that you won't get caught, or that I'm telling you, I've seen people who try to befriend athletes, and I'm not talking about them all, and certainly not the old school guys. Like the Herbecks and those guys are from a completely different generation.
They are.
But today's athlete, I've seen people try to become friends with them, and it's just really not all that possible for the majority. They are, like I said, they are not. It sounds stupid, but they are not civilians like we are. They live in a world. They live in a world of financial comfort. They live in a world of competitive desires that some guy who's playing pickup hockey at 7 a.m. on a Sunday cannot identify with.
No, that's true. So it's all about the money then, isn't it? I have so much money, I don't have to make prudent decisions.
Well, think about it. Yeah.
It's that, and like I even remember, being at NDSU and hearing stories of some of my teammates that were like, I never had to go to class in high school because my teacher would just give me an A if I scored an extra touchdown on Friday nights. Then when you get to college, it's more of kind of the same thing of, we'll have somebody else, take your classes for you, do your homework. And then when you get to the pros, it's, you're walking into buildings, not having to pay for any of your, your dinners, and you're getting a lot of stuff for free and things like that. So when you have that happen your entire life, you're like, I can do whatever I want. The world is my oyster. There are no consequences because everybody loves me.
Also, never underestimate how dumb you were in your 20s. Like, I just hung out with a 20-year-old woman who is so smart, and we were talking about things, and at one point she goes, I asked this guy, hey, are you clean, are you dirty? I go, what do you wear a condom, like, what do you mean you asked him? He said he was clean. I was like, what does that mean? First of all, nothing. I was like, do you think that this person's gonna go, I actually have this and that? Like, what clean? Like, I was like, and then I remember I'm like it hit me like a ton of bricks. I was like, I'm pretty sure I had that vernacular and those conversations when I was 20, like clean and dirt. I was like, oh.
Well, it is what it is. What are you going to do? And now all those people are in their mid-30s, and look what we got now.
Well,
exactly.
But 20-year-olds have been dumb for eternity. I mean, Brittany's right. Brittany's exactly right. We all were. And the worst part is, you think you know everything.
Yes.
That is true. But I never, ever once exposed myself to that because we were extremely poor. And I promised myself, I am not going to ruin my life. I was very, very careful about all of that stuff. Because again, if I had impregnated a woman when I was 19 years old, 20 years old, I'd still be living in that same shithole. Right?
Yeah. Well,
it would have changed my life forever. That's what they have to think about. But I suppose if you're a multi-millionaire, you don't have to think about any of that stuff.
You're right.
I guess.
You're right. You just say, here's a check, and you move on, I think.
Yep. All right, Pally, we will talk to you later, like tomorrow later.
Awesome. Talk to you tomorrow.
Thanks.
Bye, everybody.
Judd's all good, ladies and gentlemen. Score North. Take a break. Be right back in a couple of seconds. Chris Eggert will join us. You know the song Kokomo, right? It's supposed to be off the Florida Keys. Well, I hate to break your Beach Boys bubble, but that's a fictitious place they made up for the song. Fortunately for the rest of us, the Florida Keys and Island Chain are as real as the taxes you have to pay in Minnesota if you're a resident. Now, that's a reason to move south. In addition to Florida and all of Monroe County being beautiful, the Keys from Key Largo to Key West are even more beautiful. This is Tom Barnard, and I'm a part-time Florida resident myself. And if you want a second house or a new retirement home or want to become a Floridian, may I suggest you contact Matt Carlson from One Key West Realty. Matt grew up in Litchfield, and he's a super real estate agent. When it comes to finding your tropical island space in the Keys, he lives there and here. And Matt knows what's best in Key West to buy for your second home in Florida. Matt teamed up with fellow Minnesotan from Sartell and Alexandria, Kristyn Eklund, who's one of the top mortgage brokers in the country from Coast to Coast Mortgage. She'll get you the financing you need to buy a home in Florida or in Minnesota. I love the idea that Minnesotans can contact 2 other Minnesotans, Matt and Kristyn, and deal with people you kind of feel comfortable with. That's the way I feel about it. Matt's part of the Lake Sotheby's International Realty Group here in Minnesota, and Kristyn, his mortgage colleague, lives and works in the Keys, so they both know the Florida Keys' new and existing homes for sale and are Minnesotan through and through. Contact them by heading to onekeywest.com. That is onekeywest.com.
Jim Paul of Valley Buick GMC has a mutiny on his hands. His sales crew said they've had it brooming snow off the new Buicks and GMCs, then warm them up, move them to plow, and repark them again. He even overheard them cooking up an alternative plan, a sale.
This is crazy. Why don't we just mark them down and sell them?
This is getting real old to be out on that lot in this sub-zero weather.
That's right. Everyone we sell is one less to broom.
I heard we're supposed to get 6 more inches tomorrow.
I'm 5'6". How am I supposed to get the snow off the roof of a pickup?
I'm Jim Paul, and car dealers do have all kinds of crazy sales. This idea probably makes more sense than most. There's plenty of inventory, so okay, the crew has decided.
So then it's official. The We Don't Want to Broom snow sale is in full force at Valley Buick GMC in Apple Valley and Hastings. Snowy inventory priced real right at valleycardealers.com.
When you need someone to listen, a lawyer you know and trust, with respect that you deserve.
Hi, I'm Mike Bryant. Over the years at holiday time, Bradshaw and Bryant has been able to help thousands of Minnesotans arrive home safely from the bars. This year, there's still lots of things that we can do to ensure that you stay safe on the roads, like slowing down, giving yourself enough time that you're not in a rush, no texting and driving, hands-free phone calls, and of course, no drinking and driving. Please be safe so that you get home to your loved ones. I'm Mike Bryant from Bradshaw and Bryant. This year, my biggest wish is that we all remain happy, healthy, and even a little more kind to one another.
A lawyer who will fight with confidence and pride, for working harder, going farther, with Mike Bryant on your side, seeking justice for the injured. Bradshaw and Bryant.
What do you think of that tune? Belting it out, ladies and gentlemen. Guys, if you want to reignite your intimacy once and for all, listen, just give Twin Cities Premier Health a call for a discreet and confidential in-office valuation by their highly trained staff of medical professionals who become friends of mine. Nice people. They are. Acoustic wave therapy sessions are 25 to 30-minute treatments with no pain, no downtime afterward. And right now, Twin Cities Premier Health is offering a free treatment and a free consultation when you book today. Receive this $800 value when you use code word TOM at TwinCitiesPremierHealth.com. You may know that age-related erectile dysfunction is most commonly caused by a buildup of plaque in the arteries that supply blood to the erectile tissue. Acoustic wave therapy can rescue your relationship and has been clinically proven to break up plaque and improve blood flow to the penis. Definitely take advantage of this limited time special offer. Receive a free treatment and a free consultation when you book today. This is a savings of $800 when you use code word TOM at TwinCitiesPremierHealth.com. I would not recommend a service like this unless I knew they could help you. Look at that. I finally got my noggin even with everybody else's.
Welcome.
Even when I lean back, it looks fine, huh? You know what I'm saying?
Welcome.
Looks good. See, look at Chris. He's dropping down even further, you know. I was telling him yesterday, I walked on an elevator. I'm going down a few floors. Guy gets on the elevator. His shoulders were 2 inches higher than my head.
Well, that's a big dude.
7'1", 7'2", something like that. Very, very tall guy. So I've decided to sit way up in my chair so I don't feel like a shrimp anymore like I did yesterday.
Do you guys have I have posture problems. I always have. I just don't sit up. People are always saying, quit slumping, quit slouching, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
No, I know what
you
you mean.
like doing this.
I feel like I will consciously realize, okay, maybe I should shoulders back and then I get a good stretch, but then I immediately resort back to the goblin.
Yeah.
Hunch in my chair. Absolutely.
By the way, that noise he just made, he does that all the time.
I'll tell you what,
that
was the noise I made earlier this morning. Chris, I have a bone to pick with you at some point in the segment.
100%.
Uh-oh.
Bring it. Let's go.
So I wake up.
Wait, I have to introduce him first.
Absolutely.
A lot of guys follow procedure on the show. I don't know if you know that or not.
I'm a rule breaker.
Pains in the ass.
Rebel.
Channel. Did you just say I'm a rebel? Oh, for Christ's sake, AJ. Brittany, would you throw him out? I know you have to drive in to throw him out, but could you do it?
I'm on it.
Or my rebel. Okay. Channel 5's Chris Eggert is brought to you by Mr. Money Talk Josh Arnold. Call Josh today for your free 48-minute evaluation, 952-925-5608. Chris Eggert with the news. AJ has a bone to pick, and that's all I have to say.
So, Chris, I wake up this morning. Alarm goes off, 5:15. I'm shaking, rubbing the sleep out of my eyes. I do my drunken slumber down to the basement so I can go shower. I get done, whatever. I'm getting ready to start the day. I open up my Twitter timeline, and right at the top of my feed, I nearly crap my pants with this image from what can only be described as a Christmas horror mascot. Tom, Brittany, are you ready? I've shown Tevin this already. This is insane that they're just trotting this out for children to be a part of.
Okay.
Terrifying.
Oh,
Where is that?
This is the image that Chris Eggert tweeted this morning for the public to see before 6 a.m. This is what, Chris, maybe is this?
It's Midtown Global Market. Yeah, Midtown Global Market had this creature, and then they had a contest to come up with a name for the creature. And that was the first article that popped up on my phone this morning when I woke up at 4 o'clock or 3 o'clock when I was still laying in bed. And I was like, and I felt like it. I wanted everyone to see it, AJ. So I'm glad it startled you out of bed this morning too.
There's just so many things horrific about it. Like you couldn't just pick one horrific thing. It is.
Look at that thing. You know what though? Including one of the people on the show right now, every single black friend I have is going, it looks like every other white guy. What are you talking about? I know that's what you're thinking.
Looks like a cross between AJ, Brittany, and Tom. That's what.
Yeah, see there.
I thought it was weird that he was tweeting out a picture of Bob Sansevier that early in the morning.
It's a picture of Sandy.
All right. Thank you for letting me pick my bowl.
You're welcome. Yep. Good morning.
What is the point of this thing? What is it supposed to be? A Grinchy?
They wanted to have a mascot there, like an abominable snowman Yeti type situation. And I don't know where the design came from. All I can tell you is there was a contest to name it, and that's what the story was.
And again, where is this? Where can people go to see this?
Midtown Global Market, where you can also get a camel burger.
A camel burger?
Uh-huh.
Midtown Global Market. Is that used to be the Sears building?
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, okay. I know what you're talking about. Yep.
Right there. It's great. Great food. Great place to go eat. Eddie McYeti is his name.
Eddie McYeti. I like that. That works for me.
Eddie
so
McYeti,
he is kind of the Italian Sansevier of snow people or whatever the hell he's supposed to be.
He looks like he's got a kind of a slouching problem too now that I'm looking at him, sort of a hunched. I suppose though, when you're that tall, it's hard to get around.
Yeah.
So how tall is it? Did you stood by the statue?
No, I don't have the scale. Okay. I'm not sure how tall it is.
There's no live report. Chris Eggert coming to you live from Eddie McYeti.
I mean, listen, I had no idea how big of a deal Eddie McYeti was going to turn into on my Twitter feed this morning. Maybe I should stop by Midtown Global Market on my way home and, get to the bottom of it.
If you have a cracked screen, the guy over there will fix it for less than $100 on your iPhone too. So I've stopped by there many times.
At that market?
Okay.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, there's also a DMV in the basement.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Yep.
I have a question for you. I drop my phone at least 5 to 10 times a year and it never cracks. What do you have to do to get a phone to crack now?
I don't know. Ask my freaking kids. They seem to be able to breathe on it and the thing breaks.
Like, do you guys see the new iPhone came out? Yeah, quick, throw your phones on the ground.
Although Tommy's going to change his service, I will tell you that, because I see these places like Mint Mobile now. You get 2 phones for like $30 a month service.
Yeah, I go with Straight Talk. It's $50, unlimited everything. Send it. Let's go. No, been using it for years. It works.
You know how much my phone bill is?
Like
$280 a month.
Jesus.
Yeah, are you still paying out the wazoo for that? I know you were telling us maybe a month or so back, like you were having all these like extra charges for no reason.
Yep, we got to be getting rid of that service as soon as possible. I hope it goes tits up, to tell you the truth.
Who's all on your plan?
Catherine and me.
Okay, just checking.
Boy,
You're lucky. I got my kids and my parents. So I've got me and my wife, my kids and my parents also all on the plan. I'm like the freaking godfather of our stupid wireless plan. It's so stressful. It's so freaking expensive. I want to kick them all off.
You know what? You just said something horrible and you don't even know it. You know, Tom, you know what? Both my parents are still alive. Really nice, Chris. Really
only
nice.
Only one.
Oh, it's only one? No,
yeah, it's my mom and my stepdad. I should have clarified. My dad.
Oh, there you go. Okay. Okay. Well, there you go. So how much is your total bill a month?
Why'd you say it like that?
No, it's a terrible human being.
I want to clarify. You're not going to make me feel guilty about having one parent alive.
We need to investigate you, Chris. Like,
bump him off.
What is it? It's like $500 freaking dollars. It's ridiculous.
It's $500 a month.
Yeah.
Oh God. Jesus.
6 people and a bunch of freaking iPads, and it's like, what?
Oh, sure.
I got to get another part-time job just to pay for all this crap.
You should follow along that Hollywood actor that owns Mint Mobile. What's his name again?
Ryan Reynolds.
Ryan Reynolds. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
There's no way he actually uses Mint Mobile, right?
No, he owns Mint Mobile.
But
I would say he does, because what difference does it make? It's what your phone's connected to. As long as it gets serviced, I'll connect my phone to whatever service you have if it's cheap.
I just feel like he doesn't.
Well, he owns the company, kind of.
Yeah, but that's like somebody doing an ad, like that's like Joe Montana doing the ad for isotoner gloves. Ain't no freaking way he was wearing those isotoner
What are you talking about? Every day he wore them, and
right. He got up out there in California and put on his beautiful gloves.
And Brett Favre wore those copper steel socks.
Yes.
And don't say the word steel in front of him, all right? Because he puts his hand on a little dough down there in Mississippi and didn't get away with it.
Yeah.
I got a question for you. So you made $25 million a year for your entire life, and you still need to steal something? What the hell's wrong with you?
Listen, make money, spend big. All the more money you make, the more you're spending.
I suppose you're right. For this one time, we can say that you were right.
Thank you.
So what else is in there? I haven't even looked at the news this morning. I looked at the news that was sent to me, and there's a lot of good stuff in there, but I haven't even looked at the news this morning.
I will update. Yesterday, there was we had a Sunday night into Monday. This is a turning of the season story that happens all the time in Minnesota. 40 fishermen got stuck on Upper Red Lake.
Ooh.
And a big sheet of ice broke off, and they were out. I think they said it had floated away quite a bit, maybe like 500 feet. And so they couldn't get to them safely. So the Beltrami County Sheriff's Office had to go and use a airboat to go back and forth out to that ice sheet and rescue every single one of them. And it's not like a huge airboat. It looked like probably only a couple guys could go on there at one time. But they did end up getting everybody off there. Nobody was hurt, but boy, you jump in the comment section on that story and people just lose their minds. They're either like, you're so dumb. Why are you on the ice? Versus other people going, shut up. It's like the time of year we can ice fish now. And I'm not taking a side on either one of them because it's very divisive.
I've never been ice fishing. Is it fun?
No.
No, it's not at all. It's not at all.
You cut a hole in the ice and you sit there, and most people just sit there and drink beer and you wait for the little flag to come up. Like, people want to. What, Brittany?
Fun. It is fun. I'm not even a drinker, and I went ice fishing. It's fun. I don't think I could be out there forever or be in those little houses, but we've done it, and it's a blast.
I think one problem I have is I don't like fish. That might be a big part of it.
Yeah, and then to kind of be cold while you're catching the fish, it is. But theoretically, the people who do it right have either got like a whole freaking fish house and it's on wheels and it's like a freaking camper. It's like a bar out there. Like you go in and freaking heater and bar set up, big screen TV. Like they got the whole bit. So.
Which at that point, is it even really ice fishing? You just wanted to go to a bar and watch the game away from your life.
Right. But I would say those guys and gals, if there are gals out there on Upper Red Lake, the ice was thin enough where they couldn't take anything out there. So they knew like they weren't able to put any shacks or anything out. It was just like it's still, early in the season. But what I was going to say, a bunch of people want to, all the haters of the people who go fishing this time of year and had to get rescued are like, you should make them pay for it. You should make them pay for the rescue.
Why don't everybody just butt out? It's none of your business. Why don't you just butt out? How is it your business?
People have very strong opinions about this. I learned.
Yeah, good.
So was there like the rest of the lake was open and they were just kind of on like the edge, kind of closer to shore that had ice on it?
That's what I believe was the case.
Because my rule of thumb is if you look out at the lake and only half of it is frozen,
you see
you
water.
don't go out on that lake.
Yeah, that's my rule of thumb too.
Yeah.
I need to see like something the size of a semi truck driving out there and not falling through the ice. And then I'll be like, okay, I might go out.
Yeah.
I had a friend that once tried to drive across Lake Minnetonka in the dead of winter. It was very cold out, but he didn't realize one thing, and he found out very quickly. You can drive on the lake all you want, but do not try to go under a bridge.
Those channels are notorious for people going into the ice and people die doing that. Like, and it happens a lot out there. And you'd think from anybody who's been around for even a little amount of time, it always happens out there in those channels. But
it does. Yeah. You can't go under a bridge in your car on the ice. Even if the ice is thick out in the lake, it's not that thick under a bridge. So I
had to go out and rescue my then 17-year-old a couple years ago who decided to go drive out on the ice one night. They were taking a path. It was it wasn't like they were out driving in the middle, but the car was definitely not. It got high centered on some of the snow, and oh my God, the phone rang. It was like 12:30. I was so freaking mad. But I'm like, be calm. That's not going to help. Got in the truck, went over there, basically used the truck to push them off over the snow. Did not say a word to them, loaded them up in the car, did not say a word to them until the next day when, holy hell was unleashed. But oh my God.
Just imagine you out there just like aggressively pointing like the car.
So freaking pissed. I'm still pissed about it, thinking about it today. I'm like, what would you think that car should be doing out there on the ice?
It is a Prius. What were you thinking?
Yeah, the big dough. We'll close with this. I have a question for you because I don't know why this is.
Yeah.
Why do I like ocean fish? Well, I like all the, the crabs and lobster and shrimp and all that stuff anyway. But I like ocean fish, but I do not like lake fish. Why would that be?
Gosh, that's a tough one. I know sometimes the lake fish can be a little bony if you're not.
Yeah.
If they're not cleaned. I mean, if you fillet a walleye, you won't generally have any bones, but a lot of the other fish get a little bony, and maybe that's a hang up for you, or it's what you're accustomed to. I don't know. I'm going to say something controversial. I don't really like fish all that much at all.
Well, I got to be honest with you. I grew up Catholic, so I had to eat fish every Friday the whole time I was in grade school through middle school. I don't remember when they changed it. You could just eat meat on Fridays as a Catholic, but it was a long time ago. But so maybe that was part of it too. You have to eat fish every Friday. Maybe that's why I hate it.
I bet that's it.
It could be. It could be. All right. Any closing words, sir?
Nope. I just don't let the Eddie Yeti scare you again today. Or
I popped her back up. Hey, that worked for me. That was that was about a nanosecond that was up there and he still screamed.
That was even more frightening that way. Ah!
He's haunting. His blue eyes stay with me.
Yeah.
It's all right, guys. Have a good day.
Thanks a lot, Chris. Chris Eggert, ladies and gentlemen. Channel 5's Chris Eggert is brought to you by Mr. Money Talk, Josh Arnold. Call Josh today for your free 48-minute evaluation, 952-925-5608. Chris Eggert bringing home the bacon, as they say. Yeah, it is kind of weird. Maybe that's why it is, because I was forced to eat lake fish every Friday, and that's probably why I don't like it.
Yeah. That's got to be it, right? Just the like the constant, like it was in your nature, and then as you grew up, and I guess like your taste buds over time evolve as well. Whereas like you don't like maybe a certain vegetable as a kid, And then for like, I didn't like Brussels sprouts.
Yeah.
I really enjoy Brussels sprouts. Now, over time, it like your body's like, okay, you had this for so long. This is no longer in our diet. Now you just can't do fish altogether.
You guys did the proper job, by the way, because I told a bunch of other friends that one time that I don't like lake fish, but I like ocean fish. And they said, well, every Friday, why don't you just eat like shrimp or lobster? I lived in North Minneapolis. They didn't have shrimp or lobster, you dumb bastard. I mean, I got to think the first time I ever saw shrimp, I don't even know where it was. They didn't have shrimp in the deli counter.
I'm a little kid, and somebody was like, you should just eat shrimp or lobster every Friday. I'd be like, what are you, rich? Like,
exactly.
I live in Eden Prairie, and I still can't say that like shrimp and lobster are a mainstay on our routine meals.
The shrimp I can afford is going to make me sick.
Right.
Well, the little tiny ones, I hate the little tiny ones.
Okay.
Frozen shrimp.
Hear me out, though. Costco has like a shrimp appetizer. It's pretty affordable, and it gives you quite a bit of good size shrimp.
Brittany, what's that sandwich they have that's so damn good at Costco? There's a sandwich. It's like on a submarine kind of look sub sandwich. God, they have a name for it, but I can't remember. Somebody will call in and let us know.
Yeah.
It's really good. I love Costco. I'm a huge Costco fan. I don't even know why.
Same. I love Costco.
I think it's, again, I said this before, but I'll say it again. I think it's the 55-gallon drum of cheese balls. I think that's what it is.
We've been on the big salmon kick lately, and you pay $25 for like pretty much a giant piece of salmon, and it's insanely good.
You eat smoked salmon?
I do. I do anything. I'm a garbage person. But I don't smoke it. I usually just put it on the grill.
No, I mean pre-smoked.
Oh yeah. I
smoked salmon is phenomenal.
So good.
No question about it.
What is that? In Motley, they have this Morty's.
Different kind. He just did a different kind of smoking over there in the AJ grill.
She smokes it.
Yeah, it was, the way that she said it made me think of like her rolling up a dubious salmon or something.
Like salmon, smoke them if you got them.
Smoke them if you got them, ladies and gentlemen. They should name a cigarette salmon, smoked salmon. Yeah. That's a good idea. It's a great plan. Suppose you better take a break because we're coming to the end of the hour here. Boy, that hour flew by quickly. Guys, you guys must have actually been pleasant for once. What happened? Why are you in such a good mood?
I don't know.
Christmas coming up 6 days. Is that why?
That's it.
Could be.
Christmas. Do you guys always watch Charlie Brown Christmas every year?
I don't think I've seen it in 15, 20 years.
I watch it I love Charlie Brown. Well, first, Charles Schultz was a St. Paul guy. He's our kind of guy.
What is I can't even tell you the plot. Tell me the plot of it.
Charlie Brown wants something for Christmas and gets the ugliest Christmas tree. It looks like a twig with like one branch hanging off.
It's like drooping to the side.
I love those. I love Peanuts, Charlie Brown. I've always been a fan. And I didn't even know that Charles Schultz was from St. Paul. I just always it's got an edge to it, like a smart ass edge to it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I liked Linus because I have a blankie and he has a blankie. Yep. So I always really appreciate Linus just bringing his blankie places. I wish I was that brave.
Well, Fawny still does it. Fawny's still got a blankie and she's 7 years old, for Christ's sake.
So Fawny has used me as an excuse many times because Alex will be like, yeah, Fawn still has her blanket. And she was like, well, Brittany still has her blanket. And I'm like, I can't fight that. Like
exactly. You're a little older than Fawn. Not much, but a little.
Just a touch. Yeah.
Just a touch. We shall take a break. Be right back, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, that hour flew by. You have all helped support MyPillow and their employees in these tough economic times. Mike Lindell knows this and continues to give back to listeners with great deals on his most popular products. Right now, you can save 50% on Queen and King pillows. The original My Slippers and the MyPillow 6-pack bath towel sets are back in stock. The proprietary technology makes them extremely absorbent, yet still provides that soft feel you look for in a towel. The set comes with 2 bath towels, 2 hand towels, and 2 washcloths. Regular price $79.98. For a limited time, you can get this 6-pack towel set for only $39.99 with promo code TOM. That is a 50% savings. So go to MyPillow.com, use promo code TOM to save 50% on the MyPillow 6-pack towel sets. That is just $39.99 for a set. This deal will not last long. Enter promo code TOM for this special and many more. You need to know a guy for your auto repairs, legal issues, banking, and more. The same goes for investment advice. You need a guy to help you be successful, someone you can trust who gets results. Well, I got a guy for you, Josh Arnold. Josh gives you straight talk, not sugar-coated advice about your financial situation. Josh has seen it all when it comes to economic and market conditions, and Josh can make sure that your retirement objectives match your investments. Do yourself a favor and call Josh now for a no-obligation, 48-minute evaluation. You've got nothing to lose, and you'll get a different point of view for your investments. Call Josh at 952-925-5608. That is 952-925-5608. You'll be glad that you did. And tell him his guy, Tom, sent you.
Investment services offered by Josh Arnold Investment Consultant, LLC, a security investment advisor. Past performance is no guarantee of future results. All investments involve risk. All comments and opinions are Josh Arnold's and do not constitute investment advice. Tom Barnard is a paid endorser.
What do you think of that, ladies and gentlemen? I'm a paid endorser. I'm so happy to welcome back our longtime friend, Sabre Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning to the show. I've known Steve, the owner, for many years. I completely trust Sabre to keep my house comfortable because they do. Why? Sabre does everything the right way. That's why. And they always put the customer first. I love the team at Sabre because their service experts are experienced NATE certified technicians. They're not salespeople. Their pricing is completely upfront, and they fix only what needs to be fixed, nothing more. Sabre is dedicated to giving customers what they need when they need it at the fair price, keeping your family safe and comfortable without breaking the bank. Give Sabre Heating and Air Conditioning a try. I know they'll take care of you just like they've taken care of me and my family. Whether you need a new Bryant furnace or air conditioner replaced or just simply need a service call to get you going again, go to saberheating.com. That is SABRE heating.com. Sabre and Bryant, whatever it takes. You horn tootin'. That's all I have to say. So everything else good?
Yeah. Everything's good. Tom, I use every morning, and when I do the show from home, I tell myself, if you fold 4 items of clothing every break, you'd be done with your basket of laundry, so you wouldn't have to do after the show. But then I hear little Gogo's voice, and I go, well, what would I rather do? Go play with her for 2 minutes or laundry? I haven't touched one laundry, but I every day I tell myself, just do that instead, and I can't do it.
Nah, because you'd never come back.
I just hear her little voice, and I go, okay, I'll play with you for 2 seconds, and we play with dolls, and now she's getting good. She'll go, bye-bye, mama, and I'll say, bye-bye, and I'll run upstairs.
Yeah, it's well, that's why that BJ Shea thing meant so much to me, KISW in Seattle. BJ retired. I met BJ once many, many years ago. Matter of fact, we had dinner at Bar La Grassa, and he brought that up, I guess, on the air. But we connected, and he talked about this, that at first I seemed like I don't like to talk to radio people, which is true, by the way. I'm not a big fan. But he figured it out when he said, God, Tom, I don't know if you know anything about this, but I'm going to start working with my family. And he said, I lit up like a Christmas tree and said, man, working with your family, you're going to love it. I've been working with my family since they were little kids. My wife, I work with her. Yeah, I mean, that's what you're talking about. Would I rather fold clothes or hang out with Gogo? There's not even a choice.
As soon as I hear her little voice and her and Justin or Nana downstairs, I'm like, I fold one sock, like not even with its match, just kind of like bend it in half and then just run downstairs, throw a little fake baby around with her and then run back up.
But that's what life is all. I sincerely do not understand these people that abandon their children or guys that, impregnate a woman and then never meet the baby. It's like, it's your kid. How could you not want to know that baby?
Yeah, I don't know. It blows my mind. Yeah.
It's tough. Hey, look, my kids are both in their 30s now, and I still treat them like they're about 5.
Yeah, they know. Yeah, we know.
they know. I mean, in a good way, not in a bad way. But
no, I know. Yeah, you guys spend a lot of time together. Sometimes I think about that, and it kind of blows my mind how much time you guys spend together. Because with the podcast, you're guaranteed an hour a day with some of them. Like, it's pretty intense. That's a lot of time together with family.
One problem I do have, the only problem I have with my children, and it's because they're human beings. Like, if we're out in public having dinner or something, and a few people stop by the table to say hello because they listen to the morning show or they listen to this show or whatever the situation is. But I think when they were teenagers, they had enough of that. So every time somebody does that, for the next few days, it's like I have the worst job in the world and they don't even want to talk to me about it. It's hilarious. My kids and I get along really well, except for when listeners say hello. And it's not that they don't like the listeners. That's not what I mean. It's just, oh, you think you're a big deal, do you? Well, I'll show you a few things.
It's probably because after they talk to you, you keep pushing everyone around saying, look at how big I am.
Yes, that's what I do. Listen, you kids, you're so lucky to have me as a father. It's unbelievable. If I ever said that to Andy and Alex, they would never talk to me again.
But like, I don't think Andy and Alex care that much now. I think as teenagers,
no, not now.
They hated it. But yeah, because I've run into people that were excited to meet Alex before, and will talk your ear off. So
yeah, no question about it. I mean, that was at the time too. I'm talking about when they were, I'm talking about maybe 20 years ago.
Yeah.
The highest rated morning show in America. So it was every day. I mean, for a while, for a year or two, I had to have an armed guard with me wherever I went, which is really uncomfortable.
That's insane. I think,
know, but,
you know what? It doesn't matter when you're a teen, you just don't think your parents are cool, no matter how many people are telling you how amazing they are. There was some, like, I want to say it was like Bob Dylan or maybe Steven Tyler was talking about how somebody asked, like, does your kids love coming on concert with you? She goes, I have a teenager. Do you think they like when a stage full of people are clapping at their dad? Like, no, because they want to hate their dad. They want to be annoyed with their dads when a bunch of people are like, you're just eye rolls. You're a teenager.
So like, oh, you think that he plays the guitar so well? Well, you should have saw what he did last night when he didn't do the dishes and my mom had to cuss him out. Like,
Typical. That's all I have to say. Typical. Self-made millionaire who used to work at McDonald's shares 3 things he refuses to tip on. I have not seen the story yet. 3 things. I was trying to think of, is there anything I would refuse to tip on? Can you guys think of, like, are there 3 things that you would not tip someone for?
I think picking up a pizza is pretty minimal effort, right? I don't know.
You mean you go pick it up or they deliver it to you? They pick it
up?
No.
Oh my God. Pick it up. Like, I would always tip anybody that comes to the house is getting tipped. We rarely get anything delivered to the house though. I mean, we're like, my time just isn't that precious. I'll just jump in the car and grab it. But it's funny because like there's places that do a lot of food prep right there. And sometimes if you see them, you're like, okay. Mm-hmm. But a lot of times, like donuts, maybe grabbing donuts from there, I wouldn't think of tipping. Dunkin' Donuts kind of thing.
Like picking up food for me, I feel like maybe sushi is the one that you kind of have to, because it's like there's a lot of labor and very but like making a pizza, not that that's not a craft in its own right, but it's a pizza.
Yeah. Or if I do tip going to pick like the food up from the restaurant, I'll be like a lesser tip than I normally would if I were to sit down or get it delivered. Sure.
I remember I worked at an Asian restaurant, and they put out a tip thing for pickup. I didn't care, like tip or not. And this nurse came up to me, goes, why should you be tipped? And I shouldn't. I was like, you really don't have to tip me. Like, ma'am, like you're a nurse. You do a lot. Like, and it just felt so like, listen, I promise I didn't put that there.
Right.
And I have no emotional attachment to the change.
Hold on. I've got a bone to pick with this nurse.
Right. One, they should tip me instead of you because your attitude sucks, lady. Like, what are you talking about?
She wasn't wrong, but I just wanted to be like, look at me. Look at me. You think I made that tip jar? Even if I did, you could ignore it.
Think about that mindset of like now comparing how what is it to justify one occupation over another for who deserves tips and who doesn't?
Right. So just because you don't get tipped now, I shouldn't either.
I could tell you this, though. I did not deserve a tip. I ate so much food there off of the buffet line.
Well, there you have it. And by the way, AJ has a camera on me. I just had sushi last night. How'd you know that?
Oh,
I have my sources. What can I say?
Camera.
What kind of rolls you eating? What do you like?
California. It's called the California Volcano. It's a bed of California rolls, and on top of that is a spiced chicken kind of. Oh my God, it's phenomenal. It's really, really good. I love sushi. You guys love sushi?
Oh,
yes.
Any chance I can go to Wakame? Like that is probably one of my favorite sushi spots here in Minneapolis. Wakame, they have the the Uptown roll. That's my go-to there.
The Uptown roll.
So good.
I love that you're saying it correctly. There's probably like a group of people just
Wakame.
No, walk me.
Wakame.
Wakame.
Wakame. Let's go to Wakame.
Yeah.
It is a good place, by the way. You're right. I go, yeah, it is a good
right.
spot.
Me and Justin went there a lot, Tom. And you know who we saw there? Denny Hacker.
Benny, was he a man or a woman at the time?
I didn't know he transitioned.
I thought he just had the whole stealing cars or whatever.
It was after he got out of jail or prison.
He became a woman.
I didn't know he became a woman.
AJ, look it up.
So is it Denise Hecker now?
Maybe. I don't know if it's Denise or not. I haven't talked to Denny in a long time. Denny. First time I ever met Denny.
Yeah.
First time I ever met him. He walks up and he goes, Tommy, gives me a hug and kisses me on the cheek. I'm like,
okay, Denny.
Thank you. Thank you,
Denny.
Denny.
We are not in New York. We are not in Beverly Hills.
You're not even Italian. Cut that out. He was always very pleasant to me. I didn't know he was a thief. So
yeah, I the only thing me and Justin noted is that his version, because he had just gotten out of prison, and we're like, oh, this is his version of slumming it. Like, we live a post-prison life. Our best life we're living is Denny Hecker's post-prison life.
Okay. Are guys like him, when they get out, are they just broke? They have nothing?
I have no, well, obviously he didn't have nothing. Wakame ain't cheap.
Right.
Yeah, I suppose he got something going on, but yeah, it was weird. I didn't see him all that much, but whenever I saw Denny, he was always very, very pleasant to me. I don't know. It's one of those deals.
Yeah, I don't know him at all. And so it was just like one of those funny things where we always talk about Wakame's Denny Hecker's slum spot and our date night spot, like our special spot.
Well, wasn't he at one time worth like $750 million?
Yeah.
And now he's worth nothing?
Yeah.
That's gotta be tough to take. Maybe I'd cut my wiener off too.
I don't know where you're getting that information.
I cannot believe it is. You still can't find a picture?
I found nothing about any sexual transitions.
Well, I don't know that it made the news. I'm just talking about his picture. There's a picture of him going around as a woman.
I feel like if Denny Hecker went through a midlife sex change, that would make the news potentially.
You think so?
Yeah, he's a big enough name still, and especially in this area where somebody would say, you know, he is now not a man anymore.
Yeah, I maybe I'm just searching the wrong thing. I have not found anything. I found that he has a book. I found like his mugshot. I found all this other stuff. I found nothing about any type of transition.
No, but the name of the book is Now You Have to Call Me Tits McGee. Did you notice that?
Oh, he just says tits as a man. It happens to most.
It does. It's absolutely true. All right. Well, if you can't find it, no big deal. There is a picture of him out there fully dressed up as a woman. And he at the time claimed that he's now a woman. Now, I don't know if he was making it up or he's pulling our tit or whatever. I don't know. Like I said, I always got along with Denny just fine. I never, he never put the touch on me for anything. It was always very pleasant. So if he wants to be a woman, good for him. If he doesn't, good for him too. You know, that's funny when you look at all that stuff. I still don't understand. You know, they're always talking about this person and that person. You're a man, you became a woman became a man. You did this, you're transgender. Why does some other people, why would I absolutely give a rat's ass about what you do with your sexuality? How would I care about that?
With their gender? Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, some people get so whipped up. Oh, they look what they did. They're trans. Who cares?
Yeah.
Not your body. Let them, they want to put stuff in there. The one thing that I will say that went a little over the top was when they started claiming that transgender men can have a baby. No, they cannot. Why do they claim that?
That's a pretty extensive surgery.
It certainly is.
Yeah,
it's not a possibility, Tevin.
No, exactly. Like you don't just whatever. It was a joke, Brittany. Anyway, on with your
yeah. Way to go, Brittany.
Sorry, I ruin everything. I guess
you do. You ruin everything. There's no question. God, who was the guy I was just thinking of there? Oh, the guy who was banging another guy in the Senate office. He got fired.
Oh yeah, you guys. We were talking about it yesterday.
Yeah, he got fired. I heard last night.
That probably makes sense. I think
I guess. Well, you know, who the hell wants to have sex in the Senate office anyway?
Justin tries to have sex with me in this closet after work, and I say, "This is my place of work, sir.
Yeah,
please get out of here."
Throw a washcloth over the webcam.
It's so. After meeting Justin on Saturday at the Hubbard party, I can even not believe that statement.
He's such
seems like the most stand-up guy of all time. Don't blast eyes.
AJ, I don't need you taking. No, we are not living this life. Nobody's gonna be taking Justin's side on this podcast, okay?
Why not?
And I know he's better than me, and like he would never. And literally, like I am insane. He is normal and lovely. But like,
you know what's funny about that? I went to your wedding. I've seen him come. He has never spoken to me. Did you know
he
that?
Has. On
No,
his
he has not.
birthday, he went to the Vikings.
Oh yeah, he said thank you. That's not talking to me.
What? You guys have had actual conversations.
No, he didn't.
Bring him on the podcast.
He was faking it.
He was excited to see you at the boat.
You
and
liar. See, now I know you're lying.
What?
Brittany just tells him really, really bad stories about you, and so he shies away.
Justin is like, first off, he's a lot quieter than me, period.
Oh, he's very quiet. Yeah, I know that.
Everybody is a lot quieter than you.
Thank you. And so, like,
the
a lot of times,
us together are a lot quieter than you.
Also, we definitely need to figure out where this millionaire is not tipping. I know that we've gone on a tangent.
Okay, I'll get to it right now. Well, I'll get to it. Yeah, because you guys don't, keep your finger on the pulse. It's not my fault.
Look at me. I got this train back on the track.
You did. There's no question about it. Okay, so we're going to find out now. Self-made millionaire who used to work at McDonald's shares 3 things he refuses to tip on. Did you guys ever make a guess or things that you wouldn't tip on? We did the things you wouldn't tip on.
Yeah.
But I have no idea what the 3 things would be. Do you?
I'm excited. I want to hear what he's going to say.
Here we go. Oh, there's a paper bag he's carrying.
Oh, he's a man of the people.
Okay, here we go, ladies and gentlemen. I might actually sit up for
blue
this.
collar.
What?
Just so blue collar of him.
Well,
it really is. Yes, no question. One of my earliest jobs was working at McDonald's for $4 an hour, grilling burgers in front of a hot stove while my manager yelled at me for not being fast enough. Today, I'm a self-made millionaire. Would you ever write that down?
No, and it's not that big a flex nowadays either. Like,
no, it's not.
I mean, and I'm not acting like millionaire isn't a lot of money, but like, it's not. You could have $1 million and live next door to me, and I would have no idea. Like, it's not that insane.
For me, it's the self-made part. Like, I've never met a millionaire that's been like, I'm not self-made.
Yeah,
like
I inherited millions of dollars. Yeah,
there was a Kardashian once that called themselves a self-made millionaire.
Oh my God.
I was like, okay.
Also, that entire statement seems super redundant. Just like I at one point worked at McDonald's. Okay. Grilling over a hot stove. First off, you're grilling over a hot. I hope it's not a cold stove. That makes sense. Also, if you say you worked at McDonald's, I think everybody's mind goes to, hey, you were probably like a cook doing the burgers and stuff. Just say, hey, I used to work at McDonald's and now I'm a self-made millionaire. Boom, done. So
today I'm a self-made millionaire, but I've never forgotten how tough service jobs are, and I want to be generous with my resources while being wealthy. Lately, though, I've noticed that tipping isn't really a voluntary demonstration of gratitude anymore. It's become a built-in expectation and an expensive one. But you can shift your mindset to reward people for great service while still protecting your finances. While some people, boy, this guy loves money, doesn't he? He's talked about money 5 times in the first 3 paragraphs.
Yeah, I think
this boy's in love with money.
Yeah.
It's true. While some people may disagree, here are the 3 things I refuse to tip on. Number 1, at a point of sale reader where no service is rendered. What's a point of sale reader?
That's like they have these a lot at the airport. Now they're starting to see them at stadiums. You're just going up there and scanning out yourself or a self checkout.
Well, who would you tip?
Exactly. They have the option though.
You can tip a machine.
Yeah.
Well, I think it's one of those where it's like the pool gets distributed at the end of the game or whatever to
or like I went to was it Smash Burger, Mark Wahlberg's place in the Mall of America the other day, and they have on the wall. There you go. On the wall, they have a kiosk where you can put your order in, and then somebody will bring the bag to the counter, and go order number 7, and then but you still have the option to tip on that when you're not even interacting with anybody.
You were definitely at Smash Burger because they're the ones that have that.
No, it's what everyone's at the Mall of America. Wahlberg.
I know. Well, they have both.
No, Smash Burgers at not.
I know you were at Smash Burgers, but they do have both, and I just know what kiosk you're talking about. And then you have to start wondering how often I'm eating burgers at the mall. The fact that I know.
I wouldn't even know how to get to the mall anymore. That's how long it's been since I've been there.
I'll pick you up. We'll go.
I don't ever go to the mall anymore. I don't know why.
Like every 3 days I've gone there because
Really?
my mom came in town. She wanted to shop. I like going there. I walk around. I love it.
Well, I'm glad to hear it. It is a beautiful place. And to tell you the truth, I don't even know why I don't go there, but I just haven't been there in a long time. Point of sale reader where no service is rendered. Let's say you go to the mall and buy a pastry displayed at the front counter. The clerk uses a tong to place the pastry in a brown paper bag, punches the cost in an electronic kiosk, and spins it around to you. Jude's knocking at the door. Look at him over my shoulder.
Go let him in, okay?
I'll go let him in. Hey, mom must have gone. Right. It's true.
He looks so sad with a Christmas tree near him.
So while Tom's doing that, I took my Amish relatives to the Mall of America once.
Oh my God.
Funniest experience about it. We got there like 10 o'clock in the morning when it opened. They spent all day. I ended up having to leave and be like, you guys can just come home when this place closes tonight at 8 o'clock.
Just walking around slowly, looking around.
What is this?
So this is modern.
You guys still talking about Mall of America?
Oh, yeah. While you were getting up, I told them that I took my Amish relatives one year to the Mall of America, and they literally spent the entire day. I had to leave them, and they...
Oh, sure.
They spent 30 minutes just staring at an escalator.
Oh, like underwater world. They were amazed. They're like, what is this? Yeah.
Great place. Okay, so here's the deal. You see default options for a tip of 15, 20, 25% or no tip. I'll usually hit that no tip button or adjust the percentage to what I think is reasonable. The same goes for coffee unless I've developed a personal relationship with the clerk or they lift your spirits every morning. Yeah, you want to tip them then, don't you? Picking up a takeout order. One of the more awkward. So far I agree with them. I wouldn't tip for either one of these either.
Yeah.
Or I'd figure out my own tip.
Yeah, maybe like throw $1 in it and live our life.
Yeah. One of the more awkward tipping situations is when you get to a restaurant before your to-go order is ready. As you're sitting or standing around waiting, you might make some small talk with the person working there. When the bill finally comes, there's a check with the word tip underneath the total. What do? I rarely hesitate to cross a horizontal line across the tipping field, given that no service was rendered. No tip means to be paid. I shouldn't have to tip an employee just for smiling and saying hi. And I agree with that, Yeah. Wouldn't they tell them at the time they take that job that you're probably not going to get tipped?
Yeah, it's just not that deep. I think again, like as somebody who's been on the other side of it, I don't think you expect tips at pickup. And so when it happens, you're like, oh, cool, thanks. But like by no means you're like, oh, I can't believe they didn't tip me because I put this in a bag.
Right. And a lot of times the POS system that they use is the same that they're using if you were to sit down. So they can't just remove that option. So this is more of a consumers are just making a big deal out of something that the workers themselves are not expecting.
Yeah.
Paying a tradesperson for house repairs when a plumber, electrician, contractor, or handyman comes to my house to fix something, even though they are providing a service, I don't tip. See, I do. That's the one I differ with this man on. If somebody comes and does a great job, cleans up after themselves, leaves it pristine, I would definitely tip them because they went the extra mile to make sure they didn't leave a mess behind, because some people do leave a mess behind.
I am like barely in the adult world. I would never think to tip on house repairs. I would not. But we just this year, every year, like we have to figure out how to tip our recycling and trash guys. And it is we just did it today. It's the most elaborate thing because we can never catch them. So we have to like tape it to the, but like, even that, I was like, Justin was like, yeah, we got it like 5 years ago when we moved here. It was like, we got it. I was like, what? Like, I don't know. There's so many things to be an adult. And I would have never thought of that, Tom.
Yeah, I don't know. I've always done that. Probably because I was never a tradesperson myself, but almost all my friends in North Minneapolis were. So maybe that's why I do it.
Well, my thought process would be if I'm paying a higher premium for your service compared to somebody else that'll do it for, $500 less, but it's because you're doing a much better job.
Yeah.
So I'll be like, oh, that's included in your fee. That's why I'm paying you more to begin with.
I do try to give everybody bubble water when they come in this house.
Oh, sure.
So at least
the water with lemons, sir.
Yeah, right. Like I'm always like, do you want something? Then especially if I like have a connection with them and I know they have a long drive, I'm like, you want a bubble water for the road? And they're like, all right.
The biggest thing that's bothering me about these kiosks that hey, would you like to tip? Tom mentioned this earlier in the story. The first option is 20%, 15%, like.
Yeah, now it's crept up to like 25.
That's the thing. It's like, if you want to do 20, 25, or 30%, look, I thought 20 is like, that's the standard. And that's like, even if you're feeling generous, if I am doing like a coffee and whatever, like maybe not 35%. I don't know why that's an option.
It really gets to the point where like, I don't go out very much. I mean, we just don't. And if we do, and we bring Go-Go, you're getting at least 20% because I know that she's going to create chaos at your table. But yeah, I think it's one of those things where in the long run, I don't think this always benefits the servers because I think a lot of people just start adding that on in their mindset of, can I afford to go out? And the answer is kind of no.
There you have it. Oh, finally at the end, I had to look for this because he does not identify himself. But then at the very end, that says Sam Dugan worked in investment banking for 13 years before starting Financial Samurai, a personal finance website. So he does identify himself because in the story, he does not. Mm-hmm. So looking for it, because I thought for a second, it's like, well, what does this guy know? He didn't even say who he is, but he does. I've never heard of Sam Dugan, and investment banking, good for him. Financial Samurai. It's kind of a cute name, huh?
It is. I feel like Sam Dugan's manager at McDonald's is like, this guy was a terrible worker. He was the worst fry cook I ever had.
Could be. I've heard that about myself before on certain jobs,
Same.
It all works out in the end. I thought that article would be a lot better than it was.
Same.
I thought it was going to have some impact. Like, well, these are the certain people that do need to be tipped. I don't know. Maybe it says it in here. I don't know. It's kind of a lame story. I thought it'd be a lot better.
Same. I only read just a little bit of it, and I thought it was interesting enough to post.
No, I understand why you would pick a story like that. But the guy, look, it's Sam Dugan that didn't deliver. It's not your fault.
It's Mr. Dugan.
Mr. Dugan.
It was a lot of obvious things, and it's like, okay.
Yeah, I think we can file this under, Tom, the classic case of people just not doing their job 100%. Brittany just read 50% of the article and threw it up there.
I didn't even read 50% of it.
Yeah, see, there you go. You wouldn't want to work. You want to, put in an effort thing like that.
Me and Mr. Dugan have one thing in common. We're both self-made thousandaires. And there's something to be said about that.
Well, I could see that. I could see that happening. No question about it. But I forgot. We already took our first break, didn't we? I want to make sure, though.
Yeah.
Pretty sure we
break
did.
Of this hour?
We did. Have we?
We have not yet.
Okay, that's why I wanted to check to make sure. So let's take a break. We'll be right back in a couple of minutes.
This is the Tom Barnard Show.
Tom here, and I want to discuss a partnership that has been wonderful in my life, Zero Res Carpet Care. Very good friends of mine. Nothing is better to someone with a family than having a completely clean home. Your carpet is the biggest filter in your house. If you want to talk about pet dander or foot traffic, dirt from the outside, they all eventually reside in your carpet. So, Zero Res Carpet Care. Listen, around the holidays, you need to contact ZeroResMinnesota.com or call 952-ZEROREZ. That's 952-ZERO-RES. They clean your home with their electrolyzed pH-elevated water that doesn't use chemicals or soaps that smell like a janitor's closet like other cleaning services. How about a Tom Barnard deal? Well, here it is. Get 3 rooms, zero resified, starting at $129, and don't forget your air ducts. Mention me, and they'll discount your air vents by $75 too. This is for the entire month, so call them right now, 952-0-RES, backward or forwarded, spells the same, or book online, ZeroResMinnesota.com. If it's available, ask for them to come to your place in the Tom Barnard named service truck. What an honor that was, by the way. Just mention me by name and get the special deal to get your home clean and your heart happy. Zero Res Carpet.
Hello, I'm Brad Huckle, President and Chief Lending Officer at North American Banking Company.
And I'm Michael Bilski, CEO at North American Banking Company.
As a locally owned and operated community bank, we work with many multi-generational businesses.
Take Personal Care Dentistry of Roseville, for example. Dr. Walter Hunt, also known as Painless to me, has been a longtime customer of the bank since we opened the bank in 1998.
When his son Kyle was ready to join the practice, they wanted to expand quickly.
With their additional space and equipment, they now are able to see more patients each day while providing the same level of care and service.
Okay, guys, I'll take it from here. If you run a family business or any kind of business for that matter, you should be banking with Brad and Mike over at North American Banking Company. Every time I deal with them or their team, I know I'm working with experienced professional bankers. So why not bank with my banker? North American Banking Company, a better banking experience, member FDIC, equal housing lender. You know the song Kokomo? It's supposed to be off the Florida Keys, right? Hate to break your Beach Boys bubble, but that's a fictitious place they made up for the song. Fortunately for the rest of us, the Florida Keys island chain are as real as the taxes you have to pay in Minnesota if you're a resident. Now that's a reason to move south. In addition to Florida and all of Monroe County being beautiful, the Keys from Key Largo to Key West are even more beautiful. This is Tom Barnard, part-time Florida resident myself. And if you want a second house or a new retirement home or want to become a Floridian, may I suggest you contact Matt Carlson from One Key West Realty. Matt grew up in Litchfield. He's a super real estate agent when it comes to finding your tropical island space in the Keys. He lives there and here, and Matt knows what's best in Key West to buy for your second home in Florida. Matt teamed up with fellow Minnesotan from Sartell and Alexandria, Kristyn Eklund, who's one of the top mortgage brokers in the country from Coast to Coast Mortgage. She'll get you the financing you need to buy a home in Florida or in Minnesota. Matt's part of the Lake Sotheby's International Realty Group here in Minnesota, and Kristyn, his mortgage colleague, lives and works in the Keys, so they both know the Florida Keys' new and existing homes for sale and are Minnesotan through and through. Contact them by heading to onekeywest.com. We are back, ladies and gentlemen. Narcissists are nightmares during the holidays. Here's how to cope with them. It's the happiest time of the year unless you're spending it with a narcissist. Narcissists are nightmares most of the time. Don't you think pretty much everybody right now is a narcissist?
No, I think a narcissist is a very specific, like year-round. I don't think you can be an actual narcissist unless it's constant. Like it's not.
Well, that's what I meant.
But do you think they're common right now? Oh, no.
You don't really?
No.
Oh boy, I sure do. People think more about themselves now than they ever have in the history of my life.
I think that's true, but I think that term is thrown around quite a bit when it's not.
Narcissist?
Yeah, I think like narcissist, when I think of a narcissist, I think of somebody where it's like they're always directing the attention back to themselves. Or if you tell them like, I had a bad day, they're like, well, you should hear about, my day that I had. And it's like, okay, well, no, I'm like, there's no way around. Like they can't get outside of themselves.
Well, that's exactly what I meant. Yeah. People now are more narcissistic than they've ever been. Everything is about me. You haven't noticed that? Really?
I think that you're right. Like, I think narcissistic, yes, but full narcissism is something I've only ran into maybe twice in my life where I go like, this person's almost a sociopath. Like,
yeah,
where you go, they're actually clinically crazy.
Like, what is the difference?
Like, I mean, there are people that like lean towards you, but when you start kind of noticing they're lacking any sort of empathy for anybody and constantly making things about themselves, I mean, constantly, and every road leads back to whatever problem has with them. That is a unique individual that I don't think I run into often.
Oh God, every day.
Really?
People right now, it's me, more me now. Oh, you hurt my feelings. Oh, I feel so bad. It's always about them, always now. And it's not just in America, it's around the world. People focus on themselves more than they ever have. And it's you hurt my feelings. You're always the bad guy. So that's my view of narcissism is, oh, you harmed me. Oh, I should be better. No, get off your ass, go to work and shut up. How about that? See? It's the happiest time of the year unless you're spending it with a narcissist. Narcissists are nightmares most of the time, and holidays are no exception. Experts say getting through Christmas, Hanukkah, New Year's, birthdays, other special occasions with them can be especially taxing. See, I don't have to deal with that. I don't have a narcissist in my family, so I don't have to deal with it. I mean, they're leaning, but
Okay.
What? You don't even know who I meant.
Okay, take it easy.
I just love that it was narcissists are everywhere. Everybody's not me and my family.
Yeah, because that's true. Because I raise my kids properly, unlike your parents.
Yeah, Tevin.
Fairly.
So you guys really don't think people are by far the most selfish they've ever been in America?
I believe that. I just don't.
Yeah.
And
well, that's basically narcissism.
Well, because this article is talking about like people that are like Brittany was saying, where it's like you need to be checked into a home type of thing. Like it's the over the top, not just focusing on your emotions, but the over the top, like almost insulted that somebody would have the audacity to not think that they're the greatest thing ever.
I haven't read that in here so far. Does it come up?
Yeah, let me scroll down here.
Let me scroll down here. I'll find it sooner or later. Anyway, so narcissists are never satisfied unless they're the center of attention. Okay, right there. You want to tell me that everybody doesn't think they're the center of attention?
There's a lot of people now that have that like main character
energy.
Yes, where they're driving and the road should magically part ways and no traffic because I have to be somewhere. Or like, I don't have to wait in this line. That would be absurd. Everybody else is they can't comprehend that other people have lives and have stuff going on as well. And believe it or not, you are not the center. The spotlight does not solely hit you. So.
Mm-hmm. Really, I know it's very, very hard to believe for some people, but I would say this: I have never ever seen an era in my life where people, if you don't believe what they believe, will actually try to harm you because you don't have the political beliefs that they do. I have never. I mean, at the point it is now, I have never seen people be so incredibly mean to someone because they disagree with them.
Yeah.
What is that?
I don't know, but I do feel like, so this article is going to tell us tips and tricks for the holidays, but I feel like we could probably apply them to every day if that's something you're running into a bunch.
Well, you guys don't run into that?
No, not
God,
often.
I do every single day. I mean, just being around the three of you, narcissistic as hell.
Yeah.
It's all about you,
They call me AJ, the narcissist Fredrickson.
Yep. I should put this article here because I was like, this will show AJ.
No, but you've noticed that the people, well, look, first of all, the far end of the spectrum, both left and right, those people are disgusting.
Yeah.
Unless you believe exactly what I believe, I hate you. It's like, how stupid are you? Seriously. I mean, I just don't understand this whole extremism thing in politics. I've never understood that. Isn't the whole idea in politics is kind of meet in the middle? That's why, that's how it started out.
Yeah, I think so. I think it's really interesting what kind of people you attract, Tom, because like there should be no reason that on a day-to-day basis you're fighting about politics with the people around you.
Yeah, gee, you're smiling when you say that? No, it causes politics in this state has caused me major problems.
Yeah.
Because I'm not an extremist. I'm in the center, and they do not like that. When you're in the center, they don't like that at all.
Is it because they can't be like the warrior on one side or the other?
I guess. I don't know what it is. It's just this ridiculous. I could never be that locked into one political party anyway. I've been a Democrat. I like Democrats and Republicans. I just don't like far left and far right people. I find them to be a massive pain in the ass because it's all about them. It's not you. It's not Tevin. It's not AJ. It's all about me. Right?
Yeah.
Why did that happen?
I don't know.
Our education system is a disaster. That's why that happened. What our education, not all, our public school system is a complete failure, utter failure.
Huh.
Have you looked at the numbers?
No, I haven't. The only thing I know is the kids in my life that go to those schools are doing well, but
they know how to read. Well, not that, but Yeah.
No, my nephews, both Finn and Ike, know how to read, and all of them know how to read. One, and Josie goes to a Spanish immersion school, so not only does she speak English, she speaks Spanish, and that's a public school.
What a waste of time.
I go, no, I say, hola, Josie.
I say, hola, no. I am surprised, though, and it really does bother me that people love to focus on themselves. I mean, you got to take care of yourself. I understand that part. But it just, if you don't agree with me, I hate you. What? I just don't understand people like that.
And maybe that's why, like, our generation often just avoids the conversations. Are
you insane? You talk about it more than anybody in history.
Well, I bring up politics
constant. Well, not on the show. I'm not saying you specifically. I'm talking about your generation.
Oh, I was like, what? I don't even know half the time who's running for what.
You're just a pain in the ass.
I have no emotional.
Republican.
I have no emotional attachment to anything that is running for an office. I don't care at all. It doesn't.
Well, see, Tevin just took a side. Did you notice that?
What do you say?
What? That I have to Google if I'm voting to be Democrat or Republican?
Yes, you have to.
Yeah. No, that's what I'm saying. Like,
are you going to Google it?
No, I'm saying like if somebody goes like, oh, they're far left or far right, I'm like, oh shoot, which side was which again? Like, because I really could not care less.
Well, that's good. So you have no political beliefs at all?
I mean, I have political beliefs, but not anything like I'm not about to sit here and argue with somebody because, of their political belief. Like if you believe that we should vote one way, good for you. I don't really give two Fs.
That's the way I look at it.
As long as everybody treats everybody fairly.
That is the way I look at it. Absolutely. Well, I'm glad to hear that because it's not really apparent when you look at society. Everybody's about themselves right now. And I suppose our leadership is very weak right now and has been for I don't know how many years. So I suppose some people have to turn inward to protect themselves from that. That does make sense. But yes, I just wouldn't carry it on. It's like, you want to be this, you want to be that. Good for you. I mean, we're in a situation now where half of America out there hates Jews. Explain that to me. They don't even know what the hell a Jew is, but they hate him.
Yeah.
What is that? Explain
I don't know.
that to me.
It seems like such a vague construct in general. Like technically I'm Catholic because that's what I was confirmed as.
You're the bad guy too then. So am I. Catholic.
Yeah, but like,
no,
what do I have nothing in my house that would convey that. Like
exactly.
Like, but I'm technically that's what I am. That's what I was raised. But like, so what is Judaism? You know what I mean? Like, what are you mad about? What is this?
They don't even know. They want to be mad about something. That's my whole point.
Yeah.
They want to be mad all the time. Mm-hmm. So even if they have to invent something, they will invent something so they can be pissed off at the world because that's what they're doing right now with Jews.
It's terrible.
Right?
Garbage.
Mm-hmm. But I will tell you something. A couple of guys in New York pissed off Alec Baldwin. Did you see that video?
Yeah. Alec Baldwin losing his shit in the streets of New York is the most American thing you can ever see.
I thought it was terrific because some guy tried to run. Well, I suppose, do you hate Jews or not? He went off on them like there was no tomorrow, which I really liked. I thought that was wonderful.
Right. And also, like, Alec Baldwin just beat a murder charge. He just shot somebody. What you going to run up on Alec Baldwin for?
Yeah, so not the one. It's not the one you want.
So did he did beat that murder charge? He did beat it.
I think is it still going on? I mean, I just assume since he's not in jail right now. Yeah.
I hope for Hilaria's sake that he escapes it,
Are his 12 kids he has to provide
kids in Wardo. He does
have 12 kids. Really?
Alec, I don't know how many kids he has. He has a lot because of what? He's got a lot.
Have we lost our train of thought here?
I'm trying to find it. They're showing his first two, and then they're not showing all of the ones he's got with the new wife.
I'm only seeing one that's named Ireland.
Oh, yeah, he's got two from his first marriage, and then he's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, I think 6 from his new marriage.
He has 6 kids with his new wife.
Yeah.
Boy, I didn't know that, but I was kind of proud of him, to tell you the truth, because he did not back down at all. Have you guys seen the video?
I have not.
No, I haven't.
Yeah, I mean it's pretty interesting because these guys get in his face, and Alec Baldwin is not going to let somebody get in his face. I'm surprised he didn't punch somebody because he usually does. But I was very impressed with him. He stood his ground and said, "You people are full of shit. You leave me alone. Get away from me. You have no idea what you're talking about." And I really admired him for that because they found somebody famous that they could go and accost.
Yeah,
and that's what that was all about, right?
Yeah.
Oh, 100%. I see somebody famous now. This video is going to go viral and we're going to get attention. Yeah. And they're hoping that, we'll cancel Alec Baldwin and that'll be a scandal. And like, it's all just for clicks.
Okay. I got the number. He has 8 children, including Ireland Baldwin.
Well, there you have. Didn't you just say that he has 2 with the first marriage and 6 in the next?
Well, I was counting on random, like a picture of them all. And I was like, I think that, but I didn't
I've got a full list with names if you want to.
Perfect.
No, I just wanted to clarify. I was like, I think he's got almost 10 kids. And then I felt bad, but yeah, he's got 8.
See, now for young people listening, that's called derailing the show completely. Now we're looking up how many kids Alec Baldwin has. Who gives a rat's ass?
I give many asses of rats, sir.
Asses of rats.
Thank you.
Do you like Alec Baldwin? Or do you not like him?
I don't think I would like him in person, but I loved him on 30 Rock. I thought he was the perfect guy to play a General Electric higher up. He did that role very well, but I can't. Sometimes he'll talk and I'll say, and he freaks out all the time. There's so many videos of like him yelling on social media too, of like on live videos where he's like, "You come from a family," and you're like, "Okay."
He does do that, which I kind of like. You know, it all works out in the end. In any case, I just perception is. I think the problem with perception is if you grew up in that environment, you do not recognize it as much as an outsider would, because you've become accustomed to it, so you don't even notice it's there anymore. By you, I just mean a human being.
Yeah.
There are a lot of things you go, my God, that's glaring. And they go, no, it's not. It's always been. Well, see, again, you're accustomed to it. So to you, it's different.
Yeah.
You know, it's just a whole different situation. Works out in the end, though, correct?
Yeah.
I'm trying my best to stay on track for this one so we don't go to the break at like 59 again.
Okay,
what do you think?
We started with the article about how to deal with a narcissist during holidays. Are there any quick tips we can grab from there or no?
No, it's a very boring article again.
Okay.
I mean, that's the problem with most things. The headlines are always better than the story.
Okay.
You know, narcissistic nightmares during holidays. So it just tells you how to. Well, I could run a few tips if there's going on and on about narcissists. I have to get down to.
Yeah, it's how to cope with a narcissist during the holidays. There's a little bullet points.
Yeah, because we got what a narcissist. This article goes on and on and on. What a narcissist like on birthdays. Who cares?
Okay, so here's it.
There we go. I got it.
Okay, cool.
I got it. How to cope with a narcissist during the holidays. If you have to spend a holiday or birthday with a narcissist, experts offer the following tips, except they'll probably hate your gift. You ever been through that where somebody actually told you they hated your gift?
Yeah, you can tell.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, that's terrible. You should just give them cash. Then they can't ever do that to you.
Yeah.
So there you go.
Well, they'll say something like, "Oh, how personal."
What?
Yes, that's like what this person wants, chaos. They will never be happy.
Yeah, see, well, there you go. That's what we were talking about. A lot of people now are never happy. They're always, you victimize me by giving me the horrible gift. They really think that, you know.
Yeah.
Except they'll probably hate your gift. Narcissistic people really do live in a fantasy world that people can read their minds. It's a fussiness, but it's really sort of this spoiled child within that can never be soothed. Exactly what we're talking about. These people, it's me. I'm still a little kid in my head, and it's all about me. That's what narcissism is. They just never got over it. Limit the time you spend with them. All you have to do is just say, hey, I can only stay for this amount of time. If they get upset with that, that's okay, because that's your boundary that you're setting. Find the people you enjoy being around. Maybe you have a narcissistic father, but you really love being around your nieces and nephews. Try to find time, those specific people or loved ones that are most important to you. See, this doesn't affect me the way it does most people, apparently, because I don't really give a rat's ass. If you're a narcissist, good. You're going to be who you are. I don't care. I really do not care. You know, you're going to feel bad in your own day because this asshole's being an asshole?
Yeah, it's hard because there's some people in your lives that you just have to be around that are going to react this way. I think there's some good boundary setting that I like with that, like the telling of the time, or just going into situations, knowing the person's going to hate your gift is kind of nice.
Yeah, but you don't have any narcissists in your family. I've met your family.
No, but there's narcissist adjacent people. I mean, I wouldn't even call them full-blown narcissists, but people in your life where you're like, I'm going to avoid being alone in a room with somebody like that.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'm going to literally, and that's where having a kid is pretty clutch, where I'm like, oh, I got to go change Margot's didiaper. They're like, oh, I didn't even smell it. She's pooped. She pooped.
Yeah,
gotta go.
Matter of fact, we've got to go home to change it. That's just the way it is.
Just the way it is.
Making time for you, plan something for you on that day, Cole says. Quietly make a plan to have lunch with a friend or get a massage. go for a walk in the park unless you're. So they jumped right to that. That was kind of weird. So in other words, they're saying if you don't like someone, stay away from them. What? How is this a big message? If I don't like somebody, I just don't go around them.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So how is that a big tip?
Yeah, I think, it's one of those things where planning out your game plan, sometimes the holidays are riddled in minefields. Sometimes having a game plan, talking with your partner is really good too. Because if you're like, hey, I don't like to be alone with Tevin. He always talks about how I suck at football and I don't want to be like, if you see me talking to Tevin, will you just come over and talk to us? Because it's always difficult for me. And so I think going in with a game plan and talking to your partner about a game plan is good too.
Right. And also if your whole family knows, if there's okay, Uncle Jimmy over here, he's the guy that everybody has to look out for. If everybody's in on it, make a game of it. I go up and start a conversation with Uncle Jimmy, loop Brittany into it, and then I bounce and leave Brittany with Uncle Jimmy. And now she's
I can see that for sure. There's a person like that in our extended family that happens to all the time.
You said in your what family?
Extended family.
Oh, extended. Okay. So you don't see them all the time.
No, but it is funny to drop the ball and be like, hey, Lindsay, I'll be right back. And then leave my sister with this person. Or if Lindsay's walking by, I'm like, this person just said something so interesting that it really pertains to what you were telling me the other day, Lindsay. And she's like,
the biggest narcissist you've ever met did what for a living?
Brittany, you go first.
It worked in video stuff.
Working in video, making videos or selling videos?
Making
videos. Okay. So that's good. How about you two?
Ooh, the biggest narcissist would easily be a comedian.
Oh, I bet.
Boy,
yeah.
Good call.
There was a comedian. We don't have to say it. Screw it. Steve Byrne. There was one day where he got locked out of the comedy club by mistake because he was in an area where we take our garbage out. And so the mall closed the door and he knocked on the door once. I opened it. Hey, sorry about that. You're about to go on stage in 3 minutes. And he almost cried because we interrupted the creative process that is necessary to go on stage. And how would you dare expect me to now give a performance? I don't even want to go on stage right now. Absolute nightmare. So Steve Byrne.
He was just in town, wasn't he, 2 weeks ago?
Yeah, he's not funny. I don't like him.
Okay. See, no, that's a good delivery right there. AJ, what do you got?
I've interacted with a couple of TV personalities through just prior Hubbard stuff. Through college, I met some people that are okay, hey, we're all just in college here taking classes. The ego should not be this big. We need to tone it back. If it's this bad now, I can only imagine if you get any job. And it seems like it did not diminish if you do small town Iowa local news. I'm a superstar. It just doesn't work out for y'all. So
it just didn't.
That might have been a little too specific, but yeah, some TV personalities I've encountered and crossed paths with have been quite the treat, so to speak.
Catherine, when you open the door, he's whining.
Yeah, Catherine, what are you doing?
And why is she standing there? He wants to come out. Oh, Jesus. They're somebody in my house. Oh, they're delivering. What did she buy now? Here we go.
Pot?
Dang, why are there 14 people rolling in?
Is that another dog?
Do you have a visitor?
Why would she leave him in here? Sorry. Jesus. Catherine, you're such a narcissist.
Oh, that's great.
Throw her right under the bus. Yeah, in my life, to tell you the truth, the most narcissistic people. But again, it depends on who you're around a lot too, doesn't it? If you're around a certain type of person, then that's going to be that kind of deal. Because I have never, ever seen higher levels of narcissism than radio people, particularly management, but a lot of announcers and all the rest of it. Some salespeople, but mostly it's high-end management and the people that appear in radio. But it's the same thing, I think, AJ, you just said about television, that some television people tend to get that attitude. So I suppose being in the public eye is part of it. Do you think that's what it is?
Oh, 100%.
I do. And I also want to say, I think that some of them that have that like that narcissistic feature, it almost helps drive their career for arguably the better, because they're like, I need it. I have to be in the spotlight. I have to like push myself forward. So is there a positive aspect of narcissism? Yeah, maybe a little bit, but at the same time, it makes everybody else really sick of dealing with you.
Well, it's interesting you say that, because some of my favorite people in the world are radio people. It doesn't seem to me like there's any middle ground. Maybe there is, but I've just never noticed it. But in radio, people are really very nice, and I really like them. Oh, they're a massive pain in the ass who think they're a lot more talented than they really are. You guys have run into that.
Yeah.
People think they're supremely talented. It's like, no, you're not. Calm down.
And it's especially like working when I was at the comedy club. If it was like a B-level guy that thought he was, I should be more famous than I am, those are the people that are the pains in the asses to deal with. It's a lot of I should be more famous, and that's why I'm a pain in the ass to everybody.
So I think that's good, because I kind of equate comedians with radio people, because most radio people think they're funny, and some of them are not. It's that kind of deal.
Yep.
But and in radio management, just because you drink more than everybody else doesn't mean you're really good at the job. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's nothing there's nothing more refreshing than running into that person where they like undersell themselves, and then they get on a mic or something like that, and they're wildly talented, and they're like, yeah, I guess that it was okay. Yeah. And you can tell that they're being genuine. There's like they think less of themselves, but that like they're still trying to work at it, but they're really good. They nail it. It's so refreshing to work with somebody like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's an interesting point. I'm glad you brought that up, because some of the nicest people I ever met in radio were supremely successful. I mean, we're talking people. You guys ever heard of Larry Lujak was on before your generation. Do you even know who he is?
Can't say I
know.
know.
He was by far the biggest announcer ever on WLS in Chicago. Larry Lujak was supremely talented. A lot of what we do now, Larry was the first one to do it. Could not have been a nicer guy. Very humble, just very easygoing. But he got on that mic, man. He was unbelievable. The same thing with Scott Shannon, who in New York just dominated New York forever. You got all these people that are. So there is that area. There was like, most people, then there are talented people, and then there are talented people who can handle being talented. There are three levels. That makes sense to you?
Yeah, that makes perfect sense for sure.
I suppose it's like in all businesses, though. It doesn't matter if some guys are a lot better at auto repair than other guys, right?
That's true.
Yep.
So yeah, I mean, it's so I would say this about why do I love being in radio? Because there are the two very opposite ends of the business. There are people who think they're really good who suck. And there are people who are really good that don't think they're that good. Those are the people you want to work with, right? Ladies and gentlemen, win a customized ice cream sheet cake for you and your family this Christmas and New Year's from Grand Old Creamery on Grand Avenue in St. Paul, featuring holiday-flavored eggnog. I said holiday-flavored eggnog and winter wonderland flavors through the end of the month. Enter now through the Tom Barnard Show app. We shall take a break. Be right back in a couple of minutes.
This is the Tom Barnard Show. Listen live on the Tom Barnard Show app or at tombarnardshow.com.
Tom here, and I want to discuss a partnership that has been wonderful in my life, Zero Res Carpet Care. Very good friends of mine. Nothing is better to someone with a family than having a completely clean home. Your carpet is the biggest filter in your house. If you want to talk about pet dander or foot traffic, dirt from the outside, they all eventually reside in your carpet. So, Zero Res Carpet Care. Listen, around the holidays, you need to contact ZeroResMinnesota.com or call 952-ZEROREZ. That's 952-ZERO-RES. They clean your home with their electrolyzed pH-elevated water that doesn't use chemicals or soaps that smell like a janitor's closet like other cleaning services. How about a Tom Barnard deal? Well, here it is. Get 3 rooms, zero resified, starting at $129, and don't forget your air ducts. Mention me, and they'll discount your air vents by $75 too. This is for the entire month, so call them right now, 952-0-RES, backward or forwarded, spells the same, or book online, ZeroResMinnesota.com. If it's available, ask for them to come to your place in the Tom Barnard named service truck. What an honor that was, by the way. Just mention me by name and get the special deal to get your home clean and your heart happy. Zero Res Carpet.
When you need someone to listen, A lawyer you know and trust, with respect that you deserve.
Hi, I'm Mike Bryant. Over the years at holiday time, Bradshaw and Bryant has been able to help thousands of Minnesotans arrive home safely from the bars. This year, there's still lots of things that we can do to ensure that you stay safe on the roads, like slowing down, giving yourself enough time that you're not in a rush, no texting and driving, hands-free phone calls, and of course, no drinking and driving. Please be safe so that you get home to your loved ones. I'm Mike Bryant from Bradshaw and Bryant. This year, my biggest wish is that we all remain happy, healthy, and even a little more kind to one another.
A lawyer who will fight with confidence and pride, for working harder, going farther, with my client on your side, seeking justice for the injured. Bradshaw and Bryant.
Before you head back to one of the big box stores for your hunting and shooting needs this season, do yourself a favor and visit My Choice, K&L Surplus and Ammo in Lino Lakes. Not only does K&L have one of the widest selections of firearms and ammo in the Twin Cities, they also do business the right way. They want to make sure that you have the right firearm and the right ammo for your needs. Jim, the owner, has over 25 years of experience in the business and will help you find what you need at a fair price. Speaking of prices, a lot of stores are using inflation and supply shortages as an excuse to raise prices on ammunition. Not K&L. Jim's doing everything to hold the line on pricing so you can spend more time on the range. Find out for yourself why K&L Surplus and Ammo has been the choice of gun owners for over 25 years. Go in and chat with Jim in person at the store on Lake Drive in Lino Lakes or online at klgunstore.com. klgunstore.com. I'm so happy to welcome back our longtime friend, Sabre Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning, to the show. I've known Steve, the owner, for many years, and I completely trust Sabre to keep my house comfortable. Why? Sabre does everything the right way, and they always put the customer first. I love the team at Sabre because their service experts are experienced NATE certified technicians, not salespeople. Their pricing is completely upfront, and they fix only what needs to be fixed, nothing more. Sabre is dedicated to giving customers what they need, when they need it, at the fair price, keeping your family safe and comfortable without breaking the bank. Give Sabre Heating and Air Conditioning a try. I know they'll take care of you just like they've taken care of me and my family. Whether you need a new Bryant furnace or air conditioner replaced, or just simply need a service call to get you going again, go to saberheating.com. That's SABRE heating.com. Sabre and Bryant. Whatever it takes. I don't know what she's talking about. What did she make that up?
Yeah, I don't know. She needs to stop taking shots at you. And before we jump into this, I have a question for Andy. Did you make those cookies that are out there?
Yep. Well, I'm going to give 95% of the credit to Melissa.
Oh my God. Those were phenomenal. I had the one with the chocolate in the center.
Yeah, those are good.
Oh my goodness.
Okay, I'm coming in tomorrow. Will you guys save one for?
There's plenty, believe me.
Oh, yes.
I brought in about a third of the cookies we made, and there's still much more than any of us could eat in a week.
Merry Christmas to all. That's all I've got to say.
Merry Christmas to everyone. Do you guys know anybody that's looking for a house right now?
Not that I can think of. I don't think I have any friends
how
that are house.
expensive the house is.
Well, yeah. You got like a $50,000, 5,000 square foot turnkey house, then yeah, I'll take it.
Boy, that's a good bargain that you're asking for there.
Other than that, not really.
From the Wall Street Journal, how the housing market slowdowns rippling through the economy in 5 charts. I suppose, oh my God, they're looking at these guys building houses like there's no tomorrow. But I have not paid a whole lot of attention to the housing market. You hear about it on the national news and everything, but higher interest rates from the Federal Reserve caused the housing market to seize up this year, and that is now having spillover effects. The hardware stores, furniture sellers, construction firms. See, I love this kind of article because you don't think about that.
No, we thought about it.
Did you think about it?
Well, we were going to try to open a hardware store, remember?
Oh, that's right. Yeah, you were going to open a hardware store.
Real estate, it was completely impossible. Unless you had like millions and millions in angel investments, there's just no way to start a small business right now. Real estate is just insanely expensive.
It is true, ladies and gentlemen. Sales of existing homes fell to a 13-year low in October. That is not good news. Economists surveyed by the Wall Street Journal estimate that a report Wednesday from the National Association of Realtors will show sales fell again in November, and a positive sign. Home construction activity rose last month after mostly trending lower since early 2022, according to the Commerce Department. Here's how the recent sluggish housing market has taken a toll on workers and businesses that rely on related spending, less spending on furnishings. Yeah, that's got to be tough. So if you own a furniture store, things cannot be too good right now, I wouldn't think, right?
Most people are just buying Target, IKEA, the cheap stuff because it lasts, a decent amount of time. You'll have it for 5, maybe 10 years. But for most people, they would rather buy a $500 couch every 5 years rather than a $5,000 couch and have it for life.
Right. And if my kids are going to ruin it, my pets are going to ruin
that
it
too.
And spill on it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like we, mom and dad got rid of a really nice leather couch and we took it because they were like, well, we're just going to throw it away more or less otherwise. And yeah, it's pretty beat up. It's stained, it's scratched because of the dogs and kids and stuff like that. We don't mind, but by the time Ethan's an adult, it's going to be in pretty rough shape.
All right, I have a question. Can you guys hear that knocking?
No.
Well, as long as you can't hear it, then I won't tell them to stop it. I just wanted to make sure you couldn't hear it because it could be a bit annoying. Yeah, I'm looking at the rates here. Things are not looking too good for the housing market right now. Do you think, does anybody project that there's going to be a much better day in the housing market? I mean, what's it going to take for the housing market to get back to reality?
Yeah, I don't know. So can you break down then, like, is it have the prices gone down since 2020 or did they I felt like they inched down, but never went completely back.
Well, prices needed to go down.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I don't think
correction was necessary.
Yeah, that's what I'm conveying is that I don't think that it was because 2020, it was a matter of people wanted to move a lot more than there was availability.
Yeah, so everything was like you had to give them 30,000 over asking. It
was so
and
barely
walk through. People barely would walk through, see pictures, and no inspection. So things have calmed down since then, but I don't think price really snuck down back to the corrections point.
No.
So it feels like we're dealing with a market that's not realistic to the situation.
Well, it's so we're at the lowest in 13 years?
Lowest spending on furnishings. There are a number of areas.
Yeah, the furnishing things, like I said, it's just people would rather buy cheap and disposable. And that's just a trend that's going to keep happening for a very long time, if not forever.
Lower spending hits jobs. Less spending on housing means less need for workers and industries. So once again, we talked about the furnishings because there are not as many people employed in the furniture business as used to be because furnishings are not selling anywhere near as well as they used to. Mm-hmm. Lower spending hits jobs. Like we said, less spending on housing means less need for workers and industries that are closely tied to real estate, including, retailers for furniture, electronics, at-home improvement stores. Employment is down across these industries this year. So a lot of people lost their jobs in that business, those businesses as well.
Well, that's what a bubble does. There's too many jobs, bubble bursts, the jobs go. It's just, I've been talking about this bubble for the past, 8 years?
About 8 years, yeah.
And no one can be surprised that something like this is happening. We've all saw it coming if we were paying any amount of attention to this market at all.
And why did it happen? Does anyone know why this did happen?
That's just how things are. But bubbles happen, bubbles burst.
But what causes the bubbles?
If we knew that, we would all be billionaires.
See, that's the whole thing. Nobody knows why it happens, but it does happen quite often. You're right.
It's forces well beyond any one person's control. That's for sure. It's like the tulip bubble in the famous, I think that's the first famous bubble in history was these tulip bulbs. Let me get the numbers here.
We're in Amsterdam.
Yes, I believe it was in Amsterdam.
I think it was in Amsterdam.
In 1634.
Tulip mania.
Tulip mania. So the price of a tulip bulb in November 12th, 1636. It's like it was about $10.
$10?
By February 3rd, it was $200.
Oh.
And then by May, it was back to $10.
So what caused that?
People are still speculating on it 400 years later.
But they don't know why it happened.
But like, well, that's the kind of thing where it's like, if you somehow know it's about to happen, you could become a multimillionaire in literally a week. Just buy 1,000 tulip bulbs, sit on them for 6 months, sell them, 20 times profit. There you go. But the thing is, people don't know. And that's kind of like the whole deal. If we all knew, we could all exploit it and make a ton of money off of it, but we don't.
I have to believe in, what is it, 1652? Is that what you said?
36.
1636.
Mm-hmm.
What was the average monthly income of a family in 1636? Well, there was nobody in America at the time.
I was going to say the average Dutch income in 1636. Can I even find this information? I wonder.
It ain't going to be $10. I can promise you that.
Well, that's the thing. One tulip bulb, that even today is a tulip bulb $10. It seems high. It seems really high.
No, that is insane for a tulip bulb.
Oh, here we go. 1637 at the peak. One tulip bulb sold for 10 times the annual income of a skilled artisan. So that would be the equivalent of probably about $1 million today.
Yeah.
For one tulip bulb.
For one tulip bulb, it would, equate to about $1 million today.
Yeah.
How the hell did that happen?
I know. It's
like, am I missing something? We're talking about the flower.
Literal,
correct?
literal like a bulb that you put in the ground and it becomes a tulip. Yeah. And I'm not a flower monger. What do you call them? Gardener.
A flower monger. Yes.
I'm not a gardener. Do tulips keep coming back, or do they die?
Are they a perennial?
What is perennial the one that keeps coming back?
But that's the only flower word I know.
Yeah.
I think tulips do come back.
Yeah, because it's like if they didn't, then can you imagine? Oh yeah, they do go dormant. So I mean, this tulip you could have for a very long time, but still $1 million. I don't care how long that flower's living.
I wouldn't pay $10 now for a tulip.
That's what I'm saying.
400 years later.
Yeah, exactly. Well, so if 10 times the annual income of so we'll assume. So if a tulip bulb is going for like $200 or so, then that means a skilled artisan was making like $20 a year.
$20 a year.
Yeah,
and they charge. You get 2 tulip bulbs for working for 365 days.
Pretty much.
How does that even happen? Where is the positive? Where's the clear thinking in that?
Well, no, you don't get 2 tulip bulbs. You get 1/10 of a tulip bulb.
Oh, it's $100.
10 times the annual income of a skilled artisan. So you work for 10 years, you can afford 1 tulip bulb. Or you can wait 6 months for the price to crash and buy it immediately. And that's it's a great allegory for the housing market because that's exactly what happened. And it happened in 2008 as well.
Yeah.
Houses were getting, I think they're the highest they had been in history by quite a bit. There was a crash and they became worthless overnight. If you waited 1 year, that $1 million house is now $300,000.
Yeah, that is true. All right. I'm going to move on to another story from the Wall Street Journal. And you guys are going to have to confess up front before I get to the article. You ready?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. You have to confess.
Okay.
From A to Z, the famous names in Jeffrey Epstein's calendar. If you knew him, you have to admit it right now.
I know a couple. Or I know a couple alleged ones. People can type up a list and say this is the Epstein Island list all they want. You have no real proof of it, technically.
Well, it's the Wall Street Journal, so I'll trust them. Or should I not?
Wow, the Wall Street Journal's reporting this?
Yep. Well, it's because that special came back. That special, I think, is a couple of years old. It's like a 3-part special. Yeah. Done by, I can't remember who did it or whatever, but it came back and it was watched a lot this year.
Yeah.
Did you watch it?
I watched, I think, part of the first part of it, and I couldn't do it anymore. I was like,
pissed you off too much?
It's too sad and gross. I was like, I can't.
It is.
Yeah.
Oh God, this is not good. These people were friends of Jeffrey Epstein. And if you know one of them, you got to admit it, that you actually knew someone that knew Jeffrey Epstein.
Oh, we like know them as in know them in person?
Well, no, they're famous names. Well, maybe you do know them, some of them in person. I don't know. I got to the first one, not a surprise, Woody Allen.
Yeah.
That's not a surprise at all.
Not at all.
It isn't, is it? God, he's a weird guy. He just disappeared now. Did he just not around anymore? Is he?
I don't know when the last time he was in anything.
And probably about the time Jeffrey Epstein was going through his scandal.
You might be right about that.
Looks like, let's see, filmography. He's got a very long filmography.
He probably still does things, just not where they don't lead him.
Like, he's been doing stuff. He's been directing and writing pretty much a film a year.
And if he's involved in something, they're not gonna like. They used to be like a Woody Allen film, and now they're pretty hush hush about it.
That's the thing. I've never heard of any of these. Rifkin's Festival, A Rainy Day in New York, Wonder Wheel, Cafe Society, Irrational Man. These are all feature films.
It was like Blue Jasmine he made.
Blue Jasmine. That was 2013. He did do that.
Yeah, I was like, that was the last one I remember was a big headliner for him.
Mm-hmm.
He did have a great line once, walking through the streets of New York. He's looking down and he looks over and goes, "Pigeons, rats with wings."
Yeah.
I thought that was a pretty good
true.
Yep.
Pigeons are filthy, aren't they?
Yes.
Pretty much. Ehud Barak. I don't even know who that is. Oh, the former Israeli prime minister visited Epstein dozens of times and accepted flights on Epstein's private jet. The guy who ran Israel was a buddy of his. What do you think of that? Who's Thomas Barrack? You ever heard of him?
Nope.
Thomas Barrack, a real estate investor and founder of Colony Capital. He and Epstein had known each other for years, and his name appears in Epstein's address book. You got most of these people I never even heard of. See, I thought it'd be a lot more people I've heard of than just Woody Allen.
Yeah, I was waiting for like Bill Clinton or whatever, you know.
Oh, he was definitely part of it. I don't remember. I don't recognize any of these names. Naomi Campbell. I recognize that name. The supermodel appears in Epstein's schedules after 2008, and some women told the Journal that Epstein said he could use his fashion connections to make or break their careers. That he did that a lot, didn't he? He said, "Look, I can make or break you. Which way do you want it to be?"
Well, that's how that industry is.
Yeah, it is, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Noam Chomsky. Epstein arranged several meetings in 2015 and 2016 with the author and political activist while he was a professor at Massachusetts Institute of Technology. Yeah, Noam Chomsky was there. So yeah, it's a pretty interesting crowd when you look at it. Most of these names, as I'm going through, I don't know who these people are, so I wouldn't assume to read it. I would say there's about 4 names in here, but I'm still looking for Bill Clinton, or I guess Donald Trump used to hang out with him, but he never went to his island and he never went on the airplane with him. I guess that's the Bill Gates. Ooh, there's a name for you. Yeah, apparently he knew Bill Gates really, really. Epstein scheduled several meetings at his townhouse with the Microsoft mogul and visited Gates at his office in Seattle. Gates was photographed with multiple models introduced to him by Epstein. Oh, so is this kind of a whorehouse deal for very famous people? Is that what
I think so, yes.
I wonder if they release an article like this with a lot of names that not the average person would know, and then hopefully maybe they get something to stick to one of these people, and you get a flip situation where, well, here, let me expose who was doing what when I was there.
Yeah, because I would tell you, I don't know who 99% of these people even are. They're all very, very famous. Charlie Rose, Epstein introduced a Polish model to the TV journalist and took a photo of them together at a TED conference in 2014. I kind of remember Charlie Rose, but not really, really well.
He doesn't look familiar to me.
Was that?
He doesn't look familiar to me.
No. I don't know. There's a whole list of people. I thought there'd be a lot more famous people. Like, Tevin brought up, Bill Clinton definitely hung out at his house, but they don't bring him up in this article. Why do you think that is?
Well, maybe he didn't go to the island.
Oh, he definitely went to the island. They have proof that he was on the island. Absolutely. As a matter of fact, a few times. The pictures that they took together. If you found out that somebody was doing, a friend of yours was doing what he was doing, how could you still consider them to be a friend?
Oh, God, no. Oh, God, no. And I think a lot of people probably just didn't know. Like, I don't think I don't know, but I would assume, just like, you know, how Judd was talking about how he would always talk to that athlete and liked him a lot and had no idea he was like a serial rapist.
Yeah.
And I think that is like what is the human condition, is we always have trouble understanding that people we know can be monsters, and the compartmentalizing that they do. And you know, it's that whole classic, you find out something bad and he was always good to me. And you're like, well, I guess that doesn't really mean anything.
Right.
Yeah. That's a good way to put it. I guess it doesn't really mean anything. So now we got Doc in the studio. So Doc, we can turn to you. Why do people, let me put this the best way I possibly can. For me, my sex life has always been a very intimate thing, and it actually meant something. For other people, it's a conquest. Why is that? How do they see that as a conquest rather than looking for, you know, appreciation of one another?
Maybe it's a power thing, just like
it is a power thing.
Just like there's the power element of assaulting somebody or raping somebody. That's this power element that you're imposing on people.
If they can't fight back, how does that make you powerful?
That's the whole point. You don't get hurt.
Yeah.
It's easier to exert your power when someone's not beating on you.
Well, yeah, it's like, you know, animal abusers, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
It's people, there's
Yeah.
a sliding scale of power, you know, from powerless to all powerful. And most people are very near the powerless level, and that makes them feel very uncomfortable. So they have to put themselves a rung up above something, or else they go insane.
And they can't deal with being injured or be someone fighting back or trying to exert more power on them than they have. It just
because if you're so concerned with overpowering someone or something, and that person actually overpowers you, you're going to end up feeling worse than you started, and that's how you get, you know, very crazy people.
But if you had a billionaire paying for some people to show up to have sex with you, wouldn't that make you feel really creepy?
Yeah, some people would, yes.
Well,
others wouldn't.
They're using your money as power, though.
Money is power.
Yeah.
Yep. Money is
no
power.
doubt about it. It's all about money. Everything's about money. We know that. We have to take a break because we have one of the most powerful people in Hollywood coming up. Kristyn Burt will join us right after this.
This is the Tom Barnard Show. Listen live at TomBarnardShow.com or on the Tom Barnard Show app.
Guys, if you want to reignite your intimacy once and for all, listen, just give Twin Cities Premier Health a call for a discreet and confidential in-office evaluation by their highly trained staff of medical professionals. Acoustic wave therapy sessions are 25 to 30-minute treatments with no pain, no downtime afterward. And right now, Twin Cities Premier Health is offering a free treatment and a free consultation when you book today. Receive this $800 value when you use code word TOM at TwinCitiesPremierHealth.com. You may know that age-related erectile dysfunction is most commonly caused by a buildup of plaque in the arteries that supply blood to the erectile tissue. Acoustic wave therapy can rescue your relationship and has been clinically proven to break up plaque. Definitely take advantage of this limited time special offer. Receive a free treatment and a free consultation when you book today. This is a savings of $800 when you use code word TOM at TwinCitiesPremierHealth.com. Be sure to use promo code TOM so we get credit for sending you. I wouldn't recommend a service like this unless I knew they could help you. TwinCitiesPremierHealth.com.
Jim Paul of Valley Buick GMC has a mutiny on his hands. His sales crew said they've had it brooming snow off the new Buicks and GMCs, then warm them up, move them to plow, and repark them again. He even overheard them cooking up an alternative plan, a sale.
This is crazy. Why don't we just mark them down and sell them?
This is getting real old to be out on that lot in this sub-zero weather.
That's right. Everyone we sell is one less to broom.
I heard we're supposed to get 6 more inches tomorrow.
I'm 5'6". How am I supposed to get the snow off the roof of a pickup?
I'm Jim Paul, and well, car dealers do have all kinds of crazy sales. This idea probably makes more sense than most. There's plenty of inventory, so okay, the crew has decided.
Now we're talking.
So then it's official. The We Don't Want to Broom snow sale is in full force at Valley Buick GMC in Apple Valley and Hastings. Snowy inventory priced real right at valleycardealers.com.
I'm here, and I want to discuss a partnership that has been wonderful in my life, Zero Res Carpet Care. Very good friends of mine. Nothing is better to someone with a family than having a completely clean home. Your carpet is the biggest filter in your house. If you want to talk about pet dander or foot traffic, dirt from the outside, they all eventually reside in your carpet. So, Zero Res Carpet Care. Listen, around the holidays, you need to contact ZeroResMinnesota.com or call 952-ZEROREZ. That's 952-ZERO-RES. They clean your home with their electrolyzed pH-elevated water that doesn't use chemicals or soaps that smell like a janitor's closet like other cleaning services. How about a Tom Barnard deal? Well, here it is. Get 3 rooms, 0 resified, starting at $129, and don't forget your air ducts. Mention me, and they'll discount your air vents by $75 too. This is for the entire month, so call them right now, 952-0-RES, backward or forwarded, spells the same, or book online, ZeroResMinnesota.com. If it's available, ask for them to come to your place in the Tom Barnard named service truck. What an honor that was, by the way. Just mention me by name and get the special deal to get your home clean and your heart happy. Zero Res Carpet Care. Why should your business bank with North American Banking Company? Here's Landon and Gavin Miller of D&B Plating.
I've always been impressed with their speed of answers to our questions, and that has allowed us to expand and capitalize on opportunities in the market.
North American Banking Company has never made us feel like a number. They've always treated us as a partner.
For more information about North American Banking Company, go to nabankco.com or stop by any one of their Twin Cities locations. Member FDIC, equal housing lender.
Oh, look. Oh, you were just floating in the. Why are you all dolled up today? Where are you going?
I have a screen test.
Oh, God. For what?
I can't say. I had signed an NDA, but once I find out whether I got it or not, I'll let you guys know.
What's the breakdown?
What's the breakdown? It's for a TV host position. So
that's good for you.
Well, you got that locked. Is it a national deal?
It is Southern California.
No, national or nothing. I should
national
be your
or
agent.
nothing. You should be my agent.
I should. There's no question. Hey, listen, I came in here to talk to you about this, and when I leave, I hope you make me happy. That's a good way to do it, isn't it? That's a good opening line for an agent.
I'm going to do that and see if it works for me today.
Yes, do that. So are you pretty excited about this?
I am. I got the adrenaline going. I'm a little nervous, but I am very well prepared. So I'm going to use my nerves to my favor.
I like it. So you would be hosting something? Is that what we're talking about?
It would be hosting something. It would be a fun regular gig. So I am looking forward to dazzling them with my talents.
You got to call Scott. Who would be a good guy to call to be your agent to go along with you? God, I got to think of somebody. Who's the one that the very famous guy that said, "You do what I tell you, or I'll do some damage you'll never walk away from."
That's who was it? Mafia.
Yeah, for real.
Threaten your way into this gig.
Threaten your way into the deal. Oh, damn it. He's a very famous actor. I can see his face, but I can't remember his name.
The only agent I can name is Don King.
Don King.
Boxing, though, right?
That's for boxing, yes. But
yeah, that's
Patrick Whitesell and Ari Emanuel are probably the two best known.
I think, Tom, you're thinking of Christopher Walken, right?
I am. Christopher Walken. That's exactly who I'm thinking of. I will do some damage you won't walk away from. I always loved him. I thought he was just wonderful.
I think I'll get the job if I walk in with Christopher Walken.
Do you want me to call him?
Yeah, please. But
Okay.
I'm in San Diego, too. So he's going to have to get down here really fast. He's going to have to transport himself.
Where is he living?
No, I'm in San Diego. So if he's up in LA, he has a 3-hour drive ahead of him. And actually, it's
That's
traffic.
3
So he
hours
has
now?
5 hours.
5 hours with traffic. Damn.
Yeah.
I have a question. Isn't that only like 100 miles?
No, it's further than that. Like a
Oh, is
good, if without traffic, I've made it before in an hour and 45 minutes.
Mhm.
But I think 2.5 hours is pretty average.
But it can't be much. So if you made it an hour and 45 minutes, can't be much over 100 miles.
You were driving fast, weren't you?
That was really fast. Yeah. That was fast.
Yeah, there
That
you
was
go.
like, I mean, but I didn't make it an hour. Yesterday, it took me 2 hours and 45 minutes.
Indeed. Last time I was in San Diego, actually between LA and San Diego, driving along, and my friend goes, "Why do those signs all say like yellow sin, CYN, or big sin. I'm like, it's Canyon, you dumb bastard. CYN stands for Canyon. Figure it out. Okay.
We've got a lot of sin going on in California.
You got a lot of sin. That's exactly right. So, so now, do you have to leave early to go to this thing?
No, I'm at 10:30, so
so you're good to go.
I'm good to go.
I'm glad to hear that.
Sure. I like to slot all my times accurately.
We just read an article on the show about Jeffrey Epstein's phone book. And I got to be honest with you, the article left out a lot of people that should have been put in that book, but they, like Noam Chomsky was in there. Who was the one real famous person that we mentioned? Do you remember?
Woody Allen.
Yeah, Woody Allen was on the list, but you didn't see Bill Clinton. You didn't see Alan Dershowitz. His name wasn't on the list.
Interesting. How about Prince Andrew?
Nope, not on the list.
One of our listeners
Donald
brought
Trump?
that up too.
Who?
Trump wasn't
Donald
on there.
Trump.
Oh, Donald Trump didn't travel to the island. He did hang out with him, but he never traveled on his plane or anything.
And then Bill Clinton.
Clinton, yep.
Clinton's another big one. But Prince Andrew might be the biggest offender of them all. So,
yep.
And he's definitely traveled to the island. Alleged offender, let's put it that way. He hasn't been convicted in criminal court, but
we'll run the circle. Do you think Jeffrey Epstein died, killed himself, or was murdered?
I think he was murdered.
Yeah.
Well, he didn't just die.
100% murdered.
100%. And, I've done a lot of coverage on it. A couple years ago, I did some interviews with Vicky Ward, who was friends with Ghislaine Maxwell, who was kind of the person that oftentimes recruited a lot of the women for Jeffrey Epstein.
Sure. Yep.
Trafficked the women, I should say, not recruited. Trafficked is the right word. And it is such a web. It's an international child trafficking web when it came to Jeffrey Epstein. And so many people have covered it up. And so many powerful people were involved, and they're all running scared. And I do think that it is just too coincidental that there were security cameras out and the way everything happened. And I'm not a conspiracy theorist. I'm not someone who spouts all these conspiracy theories, but that one, just way too complicated of a web for it just to be a suicide.
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right. Did you ever see a picture of Jeffrey Epstein in his younger days?
Yeah. I feel I feel like maybe 40 and up is kind of when I've seen photos of him.
This would have been a little earlier, because until he had tons of plastic surgery, and he had a lot of plastic surgery, and I'm not making this up, the hair, the whole deal, he looked like a very small version of Andre the Giant. He was just this homely man. So I don't know how much it cost him to build, because he was not a bad looking guy once he got done with all the surgery, right?
Yeah, once they tuned him up.
Yeah.
I got a picture of him when he was pretty young, and he looks like a mix between Ben Stiller and John Travolta.
That's quite the combo.
Well, he's got the
don't see Andre the Giant in there
going,
He's got the big hair. Yeah, the huge hair.
Got the big hair for sure. I don't know how old he is in this picture. Maybe it says. Let's see, 1980. So he would have been 27.
Yeah, so that's pretty young. That's pretty young. But he hadn't had any plastic surgery. Oh, no, he did had his plastic surgery in his early 20s. That's right.
Oh, did he? I don't know if I can find a picture from before that.
He probably got rid of them all. I wouldn't doubt it. There's one out there somewhere. No question. All right, let's talk Hollywood. So what's going on? Any good things happening? What should I watch? What's the latest?
Well, tonight is kind of a big deal. It is the very last episode of Real Sports with Brian Gumbel. He's been with HBO for 29 years. They're doing a 90-minute retrospective tonight. But this is his last hurrah. And honestly, I think it was one of the best shows that HBO's ever put out. Even if you just watched a segment, they were they would do segments on like gymnasts and figure skaters and, Olympic years. I would always watch it, but a really high quality show, real great sports journalism. And that's going to be a big loss to that landscape.
Yeah, he was good. There's no question about that. An HBO thing, he rolled the dice on that because HBO wasn't that big when he went over there.
Yeah, at the time, it really was a gamble for his career.
Right.
But I think it was one of those. It definitely paid off. They've won a ton of Emmys. And kind of sad to see it go because we're rolling into an Olympics year. So this would be a year where I would really watch it in 2024. So I'm kind of sad that it's it's leaving HBO, and it leaves a big hole in HBO programming. They're kind of struggling right now. You know, they've always been a prestige network, and they don't have their Sopranos right now, and their Sex and the City, and their Real Sports. So this is going to have to be a real rebuilding time for the network.
How's he looking? Is he looking good?
He looks, I feel like Brian Gumble looks the same, a little bit more gray, but you would know exactly who he is.
Yeah, that's kind of cool. I just saw a picture. Guy was trying to think of it. He was on the national news last night, and they had to tell me who he was because he's gotten quite a bit older. He looks nothing like he did in his like mid 30s, early 40s, that kind of deal. Some people do change a lot, but he didn't change very much, huh?
Mm-mm. I mean, you would know right off the bat. And I think his voice is very recognizable, at least to me.
Yep.
So even if you didn't recognize his face, which I think you would, but the voice would be a tell.
So tonight is the last Brian Gumble show on HBO.
Last one. So be sure to check that out. 29 years. That's pretty amazing especially for on air. I mean, it's so rare to see someone go almost 3 decades.
I would agree. No question. So I will give that a view tonight. I'll give that a watch tonight because I did enjoy his work. He was always so even keel, I noticed about him.
Yeah. I mean, I knew him from the Today Show and then, Real Sports.
Right.
And I think he's a fascinating character. And, interestingly enough, he is still very good friends with Matt Lauer after Matt Lauer got ousted from the Today Show because Matt Lauer took over for him. And I would love to know the conversations behind the scenes between the two of them, because Matt Lauer obviously had a very spectacular firing amid rape allegations that were pretty horrific.
So that was true that he had a button on his desk, and then when a woman walked through the door, he could close and lock it behind them.
Mm-hmm.
That's disgusting.
It's disgusting. I mean, and I think that they probably it was used originally for one thing, and then obviously it became used for sinister things. And he's trying to make a comeback. I don't know if people pay attention, but Page Six has been trying to soft launch the return of Matt Lauer probably over the last 6 months.
Ooh.
And he recently attended another Today Show employee's wedding, and he was photographed going in with his new girlfriend. And I just think I think 2024, someone's going to take a gamble on him and do a podcast. You just know it.
Yeah.
Well, excuse me. Why would anybody have a button in their office to close and lock the door from the inside?
Yeah. What's a logical I wonder what the logical reason would be for that.
Well, if you don't want to be you're discussing contracts, stuff like that, you can't have people walking in on you.
No, that would be locking it on the outside, not the inside. There's no reason to lock it on the inside because all the concerned parties are inside. So you'd have a button to lock it on the outside, but not the inside. So the inside, she would walk up and just open the door.
Should we tell him, Brittany?
What?
There was a locked door that would swing close and lock behind you at KQRS General Manager's office.
Yeah, they're super common for a long time.
Yeah.
They probably still are, honestly.
I didn't even remember that, Tom, when you said we should tell him. And I'm like, what? I buried that away in a spot that oh no, am I going to cry a bunch today?
I don't think Steiny had that put in, though. I think it was already in the building when we moved in there.
It was a thing for a long time.
Yeah, just push the button and the door closes. I don't mind it closing, but locking, that's a little different.
Locking's creepy. It almost feels like a panic room type of situation.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But that's locked on the outside. See, there's two. You can lock a door so you can get out from the inside. Those are fire codes. You can't you can't lock a door so you can't get out of the room if there's a fire.
Well, yeah, I wonder if the locking from inside thing is even true.
Yeah,
it is true.
You're not allowed to do
that. That was verified in the Matt Lauer report.
Yep.
Yeah.
And the one at the queue, you could not get out either. You had to let you out.
Huh.
So there you go. So they were breaking the law. Maybe I should go after them.
Yeah,
have them all arrested
out of here.
Yeah, sued for fire code.
Yeah. Well, and 30 Rock also is. I mean, because you'd be able to unlock it from the inside, though. You have to remember if you hit the button on the desk, you're able to get out. So,
but you have to hit the button to get out.
But 30 Rock is a really old building, so I'm curious as to when that was installed.
Probably at midnight some night when nobody else was in the building.
Right. We got to do this for Matt Lauer. Come on in.
Yeah, I wouldn't doubt that. So everything else is good?
Yeah, a couple stories that we've talked about over the past few months, just in terms of updates. They're not great updates, but Celine Dion, we've talked a lot about her health issues with stiff person syndrome, and her sister did just give an update saying that she's starting to lose control of her muscles. It's a rare autoimmune disorder, and it was causing like involuntary spasms oftentimes when she heard loud noises, which made her concerts become impossible because she can't sing, hear loud noises, and then all of a sudden, have parts of your body spasming. But now it's making like her vocal cords freeze up, and she's working with doctors to hopefully return to the stage. But her sister said, we just don't know if she's going to be able to return in the capacity that she used to.
Do we know what she has?
Stiff person syndrome.
Stiff. Oh yeah, that's very rare.
It's very rare, and doctors, there's like no cure for it, and they just kind of like treat the person, just trying to figure out what they can do to manage some of the symptoms.
Well, I mean, the name itself should tell you. Names like stiff person syndrome might as well be called we don't know disorder. Because it's like just describing the symptoms and then putting syndrome after it, that doesn't tell you anything.
Yeah, as soon as some doctor finds out how to treat it or cure it, then it gets his name or her name, and then it becomes that syndrome.
Then it becomes Basham's disease.
There you go.
Basham's. Yeah, there you go. I have a question for you. How did the term calling someone a stiff ever come along?
That's a good question.
Stiff. That meant basically somebody who wouldn't give you money, right?
Like a corpse, I would assume.
Or no, you're stiff. You can't get your hand in your pocket. It's like an alligator.
Okay.
Yeah, too stiff to get that money. I give someone a honey.
One of my favorite commercials of all time was for a place. It was a store in North Minneapolis called Cliffs, and his slogan was, "Don't be a stiff, come to Cliffs." I like it. It's a great slogan. So I've never heard of stiff person syndrome. I've never even heard of it.
That's how rare it is. I mean, I think
rare.
probably the first time everybody heard of it was when Celine Dion came forward with her diagnosis.
Oh, yeah.
Which was late last year, right around this time, because she had to cancel her world tour, saying, I hope to recover over the next year and do the tour in 2024. Now with the update from her sister, it's becoming a reality that world tour probably won't happen at all.
Frequency is estimated to be 1 in a million.
Wow.
So about 350 people in the entire U.S. would have it. I believe. Does that qualify as an orphan disease? Do you know, Ralph?
I don't know. I don't know the
definition. It's got to be close. An orphan disease is a disease that is so rare that it's basically not worth researching, or it has been declared not worth researching.
So the cure will be a byproduct of researching some other autoimmune disease. It'll fall out of one of the other ones.
Yeah. Yeah. There's a lot of them. It's like people, there'll be diseases that, 1,000 people in the entire world will have, but it's like, what laboratory is going to start working on a cure for something that affects such a small amount of people? And that's one of the unfortunate realities of medical research is it's very expensive and takes a very long time.
I would say the fact that Celine Dion has it might inspire a doctor to do this because she's an A-list celebrity and obviously she has the best care because she can afford the best care. So maybe there'll be a breakthrough in some type of treatment because of her.
Well, an orphan disease is defined as a condition that affects fewer than 200,000 people in the country. Whoa. So this affects 350 people. So it's like the 1% of the 1% of orphan diseases.
And your body literally just stiffens up. There's nothing you can do about it.
Yeah, spasms oftentimes, and loud noises seem to be one of the triggers, which seems really unusual. But for a singer, that's not great because you're hearing loud sound from music all of the time while you're on stage.
Yeah, hey, speaking of stiffs, Alex just got here. Thank you very much. Great to be here.
Like, thanks, Dad.
Thanks, Dad. I appreciate it immensely. No question about it. We're just talking about what's it called? Stiff disease. What is it?
Stiff person syndrome. And Celine Dion.
Yes.
That's very sad.
Sounds unpleasant.
Well,
she's
sad story.
I mean, God love her. She's kind of a mess.
Well, yeah.
She's got a lot going on. Like, yikes. And she's looked rough for
Well, if it is autoimmune and they're assuming it is, but I don't think it's been confirmed that it is, because usually in mysterious diseases like that, they're like, oh yeah, it's autoimmune. Sure, why not?
And then they're just like, we can't do anything about it.
Yep.
Yeah.
But if it is autoimmune, those generally cluster. You'll have other autoimmune disorders as well, or even just symptoms that don't even fit a disorder or a disease. It'll just like, random flare-ups of stuff happening, and then it'll go away, and we don't know why. We don't have a name for it. Life sucks.
And she's had a lot of trauma. She lost her husband to cancer several years ago. And she's always been thin, but I think the last couple of years after the loss of Renee, who was her husband, she looked painfully thin. So I think that there was probably more going on than she let on for quite a while.
I would imagine. What is this deal? This Gypsy Rose, was that an actor, a stripper? Who was Gypsy Rose?
Gypsy Rose was a girl that I believe she lived in Florida. Her mom invented that she had a rare disease that had no cure, made her daughter take all these medications, get countless surgeries.
Munchausen by proxy.
Munchausen by proxy, yep.
Essentially, it was found out that none of this was true, and she was essentially torturing her daughter. I believe she participated in beauty pageants, was kind of what her big thing was. Daughter meets boy online, convinces boy to help stab her mother to death. She gets sentenced to, I believe it was 10 years in prison. She got served 8 and is now about to get out here in like a couple weeks, I believe.
Yeah. So Gypsy Rose set to be released for killing mother. So how old was she when she killed her mother?
That I'm not 100% sure. I believe
she was a teen, wasn't she?
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's see here.
Another question I have for you. Why would you name your daughter Gypsy Rose?
Yeah, it does sound like a stripper name.
Why would you poison your
for
child?
sure?
What was that? There was a movie or a show that had.
Yeah, Joey King was in it. And I interviewed her. I'm looking it up right now because it's fascinating. Oh, The Act. That's right.
Yeah.
And Hulu did it. So if you want to watch it, it's a really good series.
That is not what I'm thinking of.
Oh,
Well,
that's
I
the
think there's a
one that
Netflix
Joey King was Emmy nominated for it, and focuses on her mom. Her mom was Dee Dee Blanchard, who had the Munchausen by proxy.
That was in 2015 is when it happened. But when was Gypsy Rose? Let's see, Gypsy Rose birthday.
I think she was like
1991.
19
So she would have been 24.
24.
when she killed her. The movie that they made about it that's really good is Mommy, Dead, and Dearest. And it breaks down their whole situation, and it's amazing.
Is that the documentary?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So was she named after Gypsy Rose Lee, the dancer?
Oh,
I guess there was a stripper named Gypsy Rose Lee. I remember that many years ago.
We like to refer to them as burlesque.
Burlesque. Yes,
Sex workers.
Sex workers. And that's not her. That wasn't her given name, Tom. That was her stage name.
Gypsy Rose. This girl too.
No,
Gypsy Rose Blanchard is her real name.
Yes.
But I'm saying, was she named after the original Gypsy Rose?
I don't know.
I don't know that. I mean, it seems coincidental, right?
It'd be quite coincidental to have two Gypsy Roses and one's not named after the other. That would be rather interesting.
And if your mom is not mentally well, naming you after a sex worker might line up.
The official narrative is that the mother liked the name Gypsy and the father liked Guns N' Roses.
Oh,
cool. Gypsy Rose.
Wow.
I guess it's better than being named Guns N' Roses.
Guns and
Well, Catherine fought me because I wanted to name our kids Elvis and Lisa Marie Presley, but she wouldn't do it.
There are people named Presley.
There are people named Presley.
There are.
Absolutely.
Presley's pretty common now.
Oh, is it really?
Makes me think of parsley.
I'm thinking of, wasn't it Munchausen in Sixth Sense? Sixth Sense.
Sixth Sense? No, Sixth Sense. You could see dead people.
There was
the girl.
They were at a funeral for the little girl, and her ghost comes back and tells the little kid to play this clip to the dad.
Yeah.
And then it shows the mom pouring rat poison or some sort of poison in the girl's food. And he discovers it at her funeral. It's like an insane scene that has stuck with me for years.
Seriously. I mean, that movie was.
I, like most other people, only remember I see dead people. They're everywhere. That's the entire movie.
Yeah.
It's a 5-second long movie. The rest is just like White Noise.
No, I remember. And then the big twist at the end. I mean, come on.
Well, yeah,
The
that's
big
like
twist.
Once you know the twist, though, that's the end of the movie. Like, you know, it's you can't watch it again. Well, you can watch it again to see the clues that they
I
give
was
you.
gonna say, it's actually kind of fun to watch it again. 'Cause
But
you'll go,
it's
oh,
not
yeah.
one you can watch like 5 times. I feel like
You're
once,
like, I know what's happening.
yeah, and
Mini
then twice to
movies.
look at the clues, and then you go
Kristyn, I
back.
don't know many movies you're watching 5 times, ma'am.
there's a lot
Are
of
you
people
kidding me?
who will watch the same movie
I have seen
every
the movie
year.
Grease probably 200 times.
Yeah.
So
Miss
musical.
Congeniality.
I just can't do it. I don't know. We watch the same couple like Christmas movies every year, and it's like that's pretty borderline for me. Like I can only watch Home Alone so many times before it's like, you know, I can recite the entire movie. Why don't I just play it in my head at that point?
I have a handful of movies that I've seen like at least 20 times.
How many
or
times have you
more.
seen The Godfather, Dad?
I think once.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
I thought you meant today.
There we go.
I don't have one of those movies that I've seen 50 times, even throughout my entire life.
I sure have. I have a handful of them.
Maybe like Rock-a-Doodle when I was a kid.
Oh, what a film. That was a great movie.
No one's ever heard of it either.
Just you and me.
Criminally underrated. Rock-a-Doodle.
That's a great movie. You should watch the movie Rock-a-Doodle. I want to show my kids Rock-a-Doodle.
Wasn't it like
Where
Kenny
can I
Chesney or
find
something?
Rock-a-Doodle? Yes, I'm pretty sure it was. Yeah, well, some
Isn't
kind
there
of
a Rock-a-Doodle song?
Glenn Campbell. Glenn Campbell played Chanticleer, the main character. Chanticleer.
Oh my god.
The main rooster in Rock-a-Doodle.
This is such a good movie.
What
You all
the
need to
hell
go
are you guys talking
immediately? Oh my gosh.
It's a movie.
It's a
we
great
used to have on
movie.
VHS. Came out in '91, so we were very young.
Yeah, I don't even
There
know.
you
We're
go.
like the only 2 people that know about
Mhm.
it, but it's a great
Oh.
movie.
I know Rock-a-Doodle, and there was
You know, okay.
oh yeah, and it was terrifying. Wasn't there a flood that was happening
Oh, it's
on the
super scary as a kid.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that like owl baron guy,
Yeah, the Owl Baron.
very menacing.
Oh my god,
Mhm.
where can I
Clearly
get
a very millennial.
Yes, apparently.
Well, it was
I
one of
have
those.
no idea what they're talking about.
It was one of those Don Bluth movies where it's like, you know,
There's a giant rooster that's like an Elvis.
yeah, he's basically Elvis.
And then there's like this orphan kid.
It's a kid who
chicken?
turns into a cat.
Cat, yes.
I forget why.
And then there's like a mean caped owl,
Mhm.
and the big Elvis chicken is like saving everyone with his music.
Yeah, but so his song makes the sun wake up in the morning.
Yes.
But one
Like a
day
rooster. Yes.
it doesn't work. So he's like, well, I guess I'm washed up. Goodbye.
Yeah.
So there's no more day anymore because no one's there to wake up the sun. So now this kid has to convince him to sing, wake up the sun, save, you know, the daytime.
That
Yeah.
sounds like a
There you
fever
have it.
dream.
It's such
It's-
a weird movie.
How do I watch it? I need to,
You gotta
She's
find
looking
it.
I need
up
to show
now.
this movie to my children.
Alex, you have to ask one question because Kristyn has to go.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
What?
So ask her this.
What?
So, Kristyn, what do you have planned today?
So, Kristyn, what do you have planned today?
Are you still trying to get an answer out of me, Tom?
Yeah, she's got this
Oh, you have
big.
a secret thing happening?
Yeah, I signed an NDA, but I have a screen test today for a hosting job. So I was like, I'll tell you what it is once I find out the results of whether I get the job or not.
I was going to say, you look extra snazzy.
Thank you. I know my hair's a little extra curly.
Yeah. A little extra
I
makeup.
usually just have
on.
my beachy waves.
Yeah.
So basically, what's going to happen is if she gets the job, I'm going to have to go on the air and go, oh, you won't see her around here no more.
That's not true. That's not
Yeah.
true. No, that's not true, actually.
Not true.
I can
Well, good.
actually do both. How about that?
That's a good thing. Well, good luck, and you're going to let us know immediately tomorrow. I hope. If will you?
I'll
hear
let you
by
know how
tomorrow?
it goes. I don't know when I'll find out. It could be today, tomorrow, or after the holidays. You know how Hollywood is.
I have a question real quick before you go. Let's say I had somebody that may or may not have submitted a self-tape for Squid Game Challenge. How long do I have to wait? Or does he potentially have to wait?
He.
to hear
Yeah,
back?
he.
Or she.
He or she.
Asking for a friend.
Asking for a friend.
Yeah. Well, first of all, nothing's going to happen over the holidays. I promise you that. So, Hollywood doesn't really like reopen until after the Golden Globes. The Golden Globes, I think, are January 6th or so. So I would say the following week, people are really back to work, which would be like January 8th or something like that. And I think something just to remember is that they did film in February last year. If they're on the same sort of filming schedule, they could be on the fast track in January. So I wouldn't be surprised if they were interested if you started hearing something.
Okay, perfect.
Is this your first audition, or is this a
I made a callback? I made a hell of an audition tape. It was magic was made.
What do you mean? You said it was somebody you
show
knew.
It?
We might have to show it if we'll see how if I get it first, and then we'll show it as a triumphant victory. But
don't blow it right now. But I'm for sure. Once everything's cast, show it to us.
Yep.
Works for me. Kristyn, we will talk to you tomorrow. Maybe you'll have info, maybe you won't, but we'll stay with it.
Fingers crossed, right?
Right. Fingers crossed.
Thank you guys. Appreciate it.
Thank you, my dear. We'll see you tomorrow. We shall take a break. Be right back in a couple of seconds. Wrap up the show right after this.
This is the Tom Barnard Show.
You know the song Kokomo? It's supposed to be off the Florida Keys, right? Hate to break your Beach Boys bubble, but that's a fictitious place they made up for the song. Fortunately for the rest of us, the Florida Keys island chain are as real as the taxes you have to pay in Minnesota if you're a resident. Now, that's the reason to move south. In addition to Florida and all of Monroe County being beautiful, the Keys from Key Largo to Key West are even more beautiful. This is Tom Barnard, part-time Florida resident myself. And if you want a second house or a new retirement home or want to become a Floridian, may I suggest you contact Matt Carlson from One Key West Realty. Matt grew up in Litchfield. He's a super real estate agent when it comes to finding your tropical island space in the Keys. He lives there and here, and Matt knows what's best in Key West to buy for your second home in Florida. Matt teamed up with fellow Minnesotan from Sartell and Alexandria, Kristyn Eklund, who's one of the top mortgage brokers in the country from Coast to Coast Mortgage. She'll get you the financing you need to buy a home in Florida or in Minnesota. Matt's part of the Lake Sotheby's International Realty Group here in Minnesota, and Kristyn, his mortgage colleague, lives and works in the Keys, so they both know the Florida Keys' new and existing homes for sale and are Minnesotan through and through. Contact them by heading to onekeywest.com. That's onekeywest.com. You have all helped support MyPillow and their employees in these tough economic times. Mike Lindell knows this and continues to give back to listeners with great deals on his most popular products. Right now, you can save 50% on Queen and King pillows and the original My Slippers, and the MyPillow 6-pack bath towel sets are back in stock. The proprietary technology makes them extremely absorbent, yet still provides that soft feel you look for in a towel. Set comes with 2 bath towels, 2 hand towels, and 2 washcloths. Regular price is $79.98. And for a limited time, you can get this 6-pack towel set for only $39.99 with promo code TOM. That's a 50% savings. So go to MyPillow.com, use promo code TOM to save 50% on the MyPillow 6-pack towel sets. That is just $39.99 for a set. This deal will not last long. Enter promo code TOM for this special and many more.
This is Bob Sansevier, and I want to tell you about Dave Bialke from Bialke Law. Dave represented my wife, Mary, when she had a significant workplace injury. She was very happy with the job Dave did. If you have a work-related injury and have Dave represent you, I'm betting you'll be happy too. Dave is a down-to-earth guy. He grew up in northern Minnesota, rides a Harley, and worked various jobs doing concrete, electrical, plumbing, roofing, and carpentry work. Dave works for people with work-related injuries. If you work construction, or anywhere for that matter, and you're hurt or even just hurting, you should talk to Dave. Let's face it, our bodies wear out. If your body is worn out from work, if your knees or back or shoulders hurt from things you do at work, do what Mary did. Call Dave and talk to him about it at Bialke Law to set up a free initial consultation. The number to call is 763-571-2410. That's 763-571-2410. Or visit bialkelaw.com. That's BIALKE law.com.
The new Tom Barnard Show is proud to have partners like Bradshaw & Bryant, MyPillow, and North American Banking Company founder, chairman, and president, Mike Bilski.
I've advertised on Tom's show for years, and the reason is simple. My business is recognized because of the ads, and that recognition has created growth. What business doesn't want to grow? I highly recommend the Tom Barnard Morning Show for your advertising.
Grow results for your business by partnering with the Tom Barnard Show. Visit TomBarnardShow.com, keyword partner.
We are back, ladies and gentlemen. Got a question and a story for Doc. I did not know this was happening. Behind the shortage keeping cancer patients from chemo? Why is there a shortage of chemotherapy?
Because it's probably all made in China.
Oh,
I mean, so much of this. So many of the drugs are produced offshore, and China's a big producer of that stuff.
Why did we allow that to happen?
because we wanted to have cheap stuff, and also we wanted to export our pollution. No one wanted to have pollution in America, so we said, we'll just have some other country. And China says, yeah, we'll take the pollution. So water pollution, air pollution, they just suck it all up, and they just say, yeah, but we'll take the money. So
chemo causes pollution?
No. I'm just saying it's manufactured there because people. It could. There's could be water pollution associated with it, but then you don't want the carbon footprint. You don't want the chemical footprint. I mean, there's just a lot of stuff. And then here you'd have to take care of your effluent. There, they just may dump it in the river, let it go downstream.
I guess. Well, the headline's not great. Key drugs have been in scarce supply, realizing the worst fear of patients and revealing a deep crisis in the generic drug industry. So the entire drug industry is suffering. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's right. Oh, sure. We run into drug shortages all the time at the office. I mean, it's simple stuff.
Yep.
Like lidocaine,
really?
Oh, sure. IV bags. Sometimes we have a hard time getting IV, but just stupid stuff. It makes no sense because there's really no drug in an IV bag. It's just salt and water. They can't make it up. It doesn't make a lot of sense sometimes.
It's because nothing's made here anymore.
That's right.
It's all made overseas.
That's right.
So are we the last one supplied in the world now? Is that the problem?
Oh, there's a lot of countries that are even worse off than we are.
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to get it in China. I mean, that's a thing over some other countries.
Well, it's the other thing. It's like, okay, so you're a drug manufacturer in China. You could sell this drug to America for, $500 a bottle, or you could sell it to your own country, China, for 50 cents a bottle. Who are you going to pick?
That's right.
So as long as there's demand here, it's all coming here because drugs are very expensive here.
That's right. Or in other parts of the Western world.
Yeah.
The developed Western money, the money having Western world.
Well, people think for some reason that everything is free in Canada and the UK and that sort of thing, but there's a lot of drugs. The treatment is either as expensive or much more expensive than here.
That's right.
If it's not covered by NHS, you basically can't get it in the UK. Not without spending hundreds of thousands of dollars.
Yeah. Really? That's why they have a safety valve in America. Someone can't get what they want. Yeah. Suppose you want a hip implant there. Oh, yeah. Well, you're on the waiting list. It'll be 18 months before you get your hip implant. Well, they can pay the money and go across the state line into New York and have it done tomorrow.
Exactly. Can't do that in Europe. It depends on where you are in Europe.
No, there's private hospitals in Europe, some places.
Well, here's a woman named Stephanie Scanlon, lives in Tallahassee, Florida, and she cannot get chemo medication. She can't get it.
There's a lot of different kinds of chemo.
That's right.
There's got to be 100 different chemo meds.
Oh, really?
Yeah. People think of chemo as like, it's this one drug. You get the chemo.
You have to go in and get your chemotherapy injected into you.
Every single different kind of cancer has its own cocktail of chemo drugs that work specifically for it.
Yeah.
And some of them they're vastly different. Some of them you don't even notice you're getting. Some of them you're miserable for weeks.
Yeah, my father-in-law's been on a chemotherapy pill for years.
Yeah, you don't even know it's there, basically.
Yeah.
What says here, Stephanie Scanlon learned about the shortages of basic chemotherapy drugs last spring in the most frightening way. 2 of the 3 drugs typically used to treat her rare bone cancer just disappeared.
There you go, rare bone cancer.
Rare bone.
We were talking about orphan drugs. There you go. If there's not enough money in it, then why would the pharmaceutical companies supply it?
Because they'd like to keep somebody alive, maybe. That's what they're supposed to be doing.
They're a business. They're there to make money.
God, isn't that sad?
It is.
But that's it sounds heartless and evil, but think about 200 years ago. It was much worse back then because not only were these pharmaceutical companies not there, but the drugs weren't there. So it's like, things have improved and you have to take the good with the bad, I guess is what I'm saying. It's like, yeah, if you have a rare disease that would cost millions to treat, then, that is awful and unfortunate. But there's a lot of people out there who are still alive. Look at cancer survival rates, how much they've gone up in just the past 20 years. It's absurd how much you can survive now that you couldn't survive even when I was a kid. And it's mostly thanks to all this, the massiveness of the pharmaceutical industry, the medical research industries. and so forth.
But we only have so much money, and we are going to make social decisions with regards to who gets that research money and who gets, not so much who gets the drugs if they're available, but who gets that research money to have it. So,
well, and another thing about these drugs is people seem to have a perception that drugs are more or less easy to make. And a lot of them are very easy to make. Penicillin couldn't be simpler to make. Anyone could make it at home. I wouldn't, I'm disclaimer, don't make penicillin at home. But, if you had the equipment and the know-how, you could. But some of these drugs, they require very rare materials and very specialized equipment. And the cost to manufacture a single dose can be in the hundreds of dollars.
God, it's amazing. So we'll close the show with this quote from her, the woman in Tallahassee. Stephanie Scanlon said, "I'm scared to death," she said as she faced the surgery. "This is America. Why are we having to choose who we save?" Ooh, that's a little creepy, don't you think?
It is. But
we've always chosen who we save.
Yeah.
Part of life. Life is not fair.
Doc, is there a lot of that going on in the medical field? They're just, no matter what you do, you just can't save everybody.
That's right. There's a lot of it goes on every day.
Yep.
Man, that's got to be hard to do.
The transplant committee, that's their job, is to decide who to save, because there's only so many organs out there. There's 100,000 people who need a liver and only 10,000 livers.
That's right.
It's a tough job, but you got to do it.
That's why you should check the box on your license.
There you go. All right, that is going to do it. We'll be right back in a few minutes. Kick off the family show right after this. Andy's on the phone, so we're not hearing the music. There it is. What are we doing here?
You need to know a guy for your auto repairs, legal issues, banking, and more. The same goes for investment advice. You need a guy to help you be successful, someone you can trust who gets results. Well, I got a guy for you, Josh Arnold. Josh gives you straight talk, not sugar-coated advice about your financial situation. Josh has seen it all when it comes to economic and market conditions, and Josh can make sure that your retirement objectives match your investments. Do yourself a favor and call Josh now for a no-obligation 48-minute evaluation. You've got nothing to lose, and you'll get a different point of view for your investments. Call Josh at 952-925-5608. That is 952-925-5608. You'll be glad that you did. And tell him his guy, Tom, sent you.
Investment services offered by Josh Arnold Investment Consultant, LLC, a security investment advisor. Past performance is no guarantee of future results. All investments involve risk. All comments and opinions are Josh Arnold's and do not constitute investment advice. Tom Barnard is a paid endorser.
I'm so happy to welcome back our longtime friend, Sabre Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning, to the show. I've known Steve, the owner, for many years, and I completely trust Sabre to keep my house comfortable. Why? Sabre does everything the right way, and they always put the customer first. I love the team at Sabre because their service experts are experienced NATE certified technicians, not salespeople. Their pricing is completely upfront, and they fix only what needs to be fixed, nothing more. Sabre is dedicated to giving customers what they need, when they need it, at the fair price, keeping your family safe and comfortable without breaking the bank. Give Sabre Heating and Air Conditioning a try. I know they'll take care of you just like they've taken care of me and my family. Whether you need a new Bryant furnace or air conditioner replaced, or just simply need a service call to get you going again, go to saberheating.com. That's SABRE heating.com. Sabre and Bryant, whatever it takes.
When you need someone to listen, a lawyer you know and trust, with respect that you deserve.
Hi, I'm Mike Bryant. Over the years at holiday time, Bradshaw & Bryant has been able to help thousands of Minnesotans arrive home safely from the bars. This year, there's still lots of things that we can do to ensure that you stay safe on the roads, like slowing down, giving yourself enough time that you're not in a rush, no texting and driving, hands-free phone calls, and of course, no drinking and driving. Please be safe so that you get home to your loved ones. I'm Mike Bryant from Bradshaw & Bryant. This year, my biggest wish is that we all remain happy, healthy, and even a little more kind to one another.
confidence and pride for working harder, going farther with my client on your side, seeking justice for the injured. Bradshaw and Bryant.
Tom here, and I want to discuss a partnership that has been wonderful in my life. Zero Res Carpet Care, very good friends of mine. Nothing is better to someone with a family than having a completely clean home. Your carpet is the biggest filter in your house. If you want to talk about pet dander or foot traffic, dirt from the outside, they all eventually reside in your carpet. So, Zero Res Carpet Care. Listen, around the holidays, you need to contact ZeroResMinnesota.com or call 952-ZEROREZ. That's 952-ZERO-RES. They clean your home with their electrolyzed pH-elevated water that doesn't use chemicals or soaps that smell like a janitor's closet like other cleaning services. How about a Tom Barnard deal? Well, here it is. Get 3 rooms, 0 resified, starting at $129, and don't forget your air ducts. Mention me, and they'll discount your air vents by $75 too. This is for the entire month, so call them right now, 952-0-RES, backward or forwarded, spells the same, or book online, ZeroResMinnesota.com. If it's available, ask for them to come to your place in the Tom Barnard named service truck. What an honor that was, by the way. Just mention me by name and get the special deal to get your home clean and your heart happy. Zero Res Carpet.
Welcome to the family with
Tevin Pittman,
Alex Bernard Rasmussen,
Hackmaster Ralph W. Basham, MD,
and Andy Brant Bernard.
See, you got everybody. Everybody's good. So what's the latest?
Well, we got a call in between shows, actually.
Oh, my.
A man who his wife is currently undergoing chemo and infusions.
Okay.
And the infusions, he said, 6 treatments, $25,000.
Holy God.
And he doesn't believe that that's all manufacturing costs and supply and demand.
Oh, no. Hospitals make a ton of money.
Oh, God, they make such an... Yeah, and I told him I would have gotten to that, but we ran out of time.
Oh, yeah.
But, yeah, hospital greed and pharmaceutical greed.
You can call back in now. Okay.
Also, we have Tim coming up. Maybe after Tim, if he's
after Tim, if we can get a hold, I'd love to have him on because
you know who you are out there.
Well, my father-in-law has a type of blood cancer that it's like, when he was diagnosed with it, they were like, you probably have 7 years to live. And that was now probably 12 years ago.
Yeah, it happens a lot.
Because all these things are being
He's got PCV, right? Polycythemia vera?
I don't know. I've been told many times and I always forget because there's so many different types of blood
There
cancer.
sure are.
I don't know.
Every cell in your blood can become cancerous.
Yeah.
Except for platelets. Can platelets become cancerous?
Yeah, I think there's a platelet
extremely
disorder.
rare.
It'd be a bone marrow issue.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, and they had to do this thing every 6 months. He would go and they would take his, like the amount of blood that your body needs out of his body over the course of a few days, radiate that, and then put it back in while taking the other blood out.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
and they did that like a few times. I'm like, I can't even imagine how much that probably cost.
No, I cannot imagine.
And that was like, he had to be there for like 2 weeks each time.
Yeah.
Yeah. But $25,000 is that $25,000 per treatment or $25,000 for the 6
It was
infusion?
for the 6, I believe he said. But that's still, I mean, that's a lot of money, especially if you're like retired, you're on Social Security.
I mean, it is a lot of money
to pay, but a lot of it's covered by Medicare and things like that.
I don't think infusions, I don't think often are.
Chemotherapy is covered.
Well,
Chemo is, but I think the infusions might be for something else because infusions are usually for autoimmune disorders, from what I understand.
No. There's IV treatments for cancers. So the infusion, the blood or the drug that they're getting IV is covered, and a lot of that isn't correct. That's not in the hospital. That's at the clinics. So the oncology clinics are doing that. So those clinics and those physicians are getting paid to do that, and you want to pay them to do that so they don't screw it up.
That is true.
Because if it's not, their intellect is worth something. So I agree that the hospitals are making way too much money, but the docs that are doing it, they're not getting paid. The intellect is not getting compensated for.
Yes, it's the administration and the hospital itself, the LLC that the hospital belongs to, or whatever corporate entity. And there's a reason hospitals are becoming bigger and shinier every year.
Yeah.
Speaking of people who are shiny,
Shiny Tim.
Tim Lammers.
Shiny Tim. Yeah, I like that.
Shiny Tim. It all works out.
What kind of troublesome conversation did I happen upon?
Pharmaceutical greed.
Yeah, we're just talking about.
Oh God, yeah. Yeah. You're talking to a person who's bought a lot of meds in his life for me and my children. We could have started our own insulin factory, man. We should have.
Oh God, yeah.
Yeah, so that's one of those that I don't know. Did they finally fix that in Minnesota? Thankfully, we've had good insurance all these years, but I know obviously there was a bill in the legislature because insulin was unaffordable.
Right.
For diabetics to the point where some young man died and his mother lobbied to get this damn thing taken care of and get it, affordable for people.
Yep.
But how does it ever get to the point that it's not affordable? It should never even get to that point.
No, not at all. Not at all. Especially the way I understand it, and I don't want to be talking too much out of school here, is that they tweak the formula a little bit in order to keep upping the patent on it. Does that sound right, Ralph?
Yeah,
Now they can keep getting away with things. I don't know.
Or they have insurance and they just say, hey, we're going to charge 10% more, see what happens. Insurance pays it. Then they say, oh, charge 5% more.
Why not?
Well, the insurance is paying for it. So at some point, insurance paying these higher prices for the insulin, and someone rolls along without insurance or doesn't have the means to, pay for it. Well, then it's too expensive for them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, we've been in situations before where, I don't know, for one reason or the other, one of the kids forgets and he's at school and he's out of insulin and they say, well, that's too bad. We can't give you any in advance. So if you want, you can just pay $300 to get a bottle.
Yep.
I mean, oh my God, that's how much it is. That's how much they charge. $300 a bottle.
Well, and a lot of that is because the obesity epidemic has made diabetes extremely common when it didn't used to be. So demand is just insanely high for insulin.
Well, and it's like I don't know. There's such a big difference between type 1 and type 2 diabetes in some of you could not have diabetes.
That is true. And
Some of you have no choice.
And we're all the type 1s where we're considered juvenile diabetes, where myself and all 3 of my children were all diagnosed with type 1. So we didn't have a choice but to get injections. So,
although I'm hearing good things about islet cell transplantation in the future.
Yeah, I certainly hope so. And right now, my youngest son and I got this thing called the islet, which is they call it a bionic pancreas. It's something that's it's outside of our body. It's like
that's what I was going to say.
That is bionic.
Very bionic.
I have a robot pancreas now, and talk like this now. We can.
He's going to have to come back in. You're going to have to drop
not good.
Automatic.
I'm just going to remove him and tell him.
He's breaking up.
Another time.
He'll be fine. Don't worry about a thing.
Speaking of entertainment, not drugs.
Entertainment, not drugs.
Do you know who Danny Trejo is?
Yeah.
Did you hear about him?
He's a great actor.
When he was 7 years old, he made his first drug deal, and at 12, he first tried heroin.
Oh, fun.
Before he found success in Hollywood, one of the world's most instantly recognizable cinematic bad guys lived a life so rough that makes even his most grizzled roles pale in comparison. He robbed stores with live grenades, sold drugs, and was sentenced to 10 years in prison after being caught selling heroin.
How old was he when he went to prison?
I don't know.
Oh, it doesn't say.
But he was 12 when he first did smack.
He's only 5'6".
Wow, really?
Yeah. He's an inch taller than me.
Robbed stores with live grenades.
Yeah, I feel like a live grenade is a little overkill when you're robbing.
You think I might be a little over the top?
I think so.
Oh my god.
Just a little.
My kids are very into the Spy Kids movies right now. They've just really there's like 6 of them, I think.
Really? There's at least 3. I know that much.
Well, there's Spy Kids 1, 2, and 3, and then there's Spy Kids like Armageddon, Spy Kids one day soon or something like that. Like it's
adults.
Yes, Spy teenagers, Spy young
Spy
adults.
Kids, Return of the King, Spy Kids and the Goblet of Fire.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, there you go.
Spy Kids, The Phantom Menace. There's 5 of them. There's 1, 2, and 3D. Spy Kids All the Time in the World.
All the time.
And now there's a brand new one as of September of this year, Spy Kids Armageddon.
Armageddon.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. That's, I think, the first one that they watched because it popped up on our Netflix or whatever. And they were like, let's watch this. And they had their cousins over. And so they were having a movie night. And now they're like, they really like the Spy Kids movies. And now I'll be like, this guy did heroin as a child.
Yeah, there you go.
And rob stores with grenades.
Okay, there is this. We've been listening to this podcast, and it's very family friendly. It's called Forever Ago, and it talks about, how children's libraries came to be, and like what premature babies, like how why can't I think of the words? Incubators came to like help premature babies and all this stuff. But there's a commercial for Diary of a Wimpy Kid Christmas or something, and they talk about cannibalism in it.
What?
And they were like, a family was snowed in and they had to eat each other. And Fawn was like, is that true? And I was like, yeah.
The Donner family, right?
Yeah.
It's happened.
I was like, yeah, I know. And she's like, why? And then I was like, you know what? Let's just not talk about this.
Yeah, Diary of a Wimpy Kid, I think, is for like probably 10.
It's rated PG.
Well, technically,
I think PG's over 10, isn't it? 12, maybe? Parental guidance.
parental guidance.
But I think that's kind of like up to your discretion. I don't know.
Well, technically, yeah. Technically, you're allowed to bring a kid into a PG-13 film if you want.
I mean,
right?
Beetlejuice is rated PG. So.
Beetlejuice is rated PG, and it should not be.
I don't know, but yeah, I was like, cool. Just my children. I was like, this lovely little podcast, and they're talking about there's a ad about not about cannibalism, but they talk about cannibalism. Cool.
Why would they talk about it in the ad?
Great question, Ralph. Great question.
This is what we're putting our first foot forward with.
And it's in every single episode that we listen to. We just drove back and forth to Wisconsin this weekend for a Christmas thing with Jan's family, and we listened to this podcast. Each of them are half an hour. We heard it every half hour.
Maybe it's reducing carbon.
Yeah, maybe that's what it is.
Sequestering carbon anyway.
You are the carbon they want to reduce.
So wait, I don't understand. So this was this is a story about the Donner family.
No,
the Donner party.
It's a Christmas movie. There's this books. It started off as books called Diary of a Wimpy Kid, and then they turned into a movie or a show. Or I think there's movies. I've never seen any of them because they're terrible. And there is a Christmas one out now, and they're talking about Diary of a Wimpy Kid Christmas and blah, 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 blah. And then there's one section of the ad says, there was a family that was snowed in and they had to eat each other.
It's called Diary of a Wimpy Kid Christmas Cabin Fever. So it's about cabin fever. And I guess that would be a form of cabin fever.
Cannibalism.
A very extreme form.
The most extreme of cabin fever. Where you have to eat each other. Yeah, but that's in the ad. And I'm like, and it's in a bunch of kids' podcasts.
We had him on the show along
we did.
we
did.
Long time
author
ago.
of those, yeah.
Oh, you're talking about that guy. I thought you were talking about Danny Trejo. He used to come on the morning show all the time. He's a very nice guy.
On the chat, they were like, he's mentioned his rough past on KQ before.
And
Yep, absolutely. Timmy, having any luck? Did you talk to him?
It doesn't seem to be. No, he's joined a couple times. Device is not connected.
Yeah,
I think I think he needs a new computer. We need to start a Patreon for Tim.
Get him taken care of.
Listen, going back to Rockadoodle, you can watch it on Amazon Prime.
Oh, there you go.
And I text messaged Dan to see if he had ever heard of it because he's technically a millennial. He's an elder millennial, but he has 2 Gen X brothers, and so he kind of like leans more toward Gen X stuff since he's an elder millennial, and then he has his older brother because his middle brother is 8 years older than him.
So he's like he's a Zennial.
Kind of, yeah. And he had never heard of it, which I didn't think he had.
No, it's 1991.
But
it's like the perfect age.
He's never heard of a lot of stuff from when we were like stuff that even though you're only not that far apart in age, he's 39.
Yeah, I'm 2 years older.
Yeah, you're 2 years younger than him. And
2 years is nothing.
Yeah, like, but he hasn't heard of so many things that I'm like, oh, Andy used to do this, or we used to watch this movie. And he's like, I don't know what you're talking about, because he was watching stuff that he should not have because he had 2 older brothers.
Oh, yeah, that makes sense.
Yep.
And now I'm like that for modern stuff. People are like, oh, I've heard about this new movie. It made $1.5 trillion. I'm like, no, I have not. But Tim Lammers might have.
Timmy.
I don't know what's going on with the freaking interwebs. I think once I started talking about the controversy with insulin, cut him off.
Your router ran out of insulin.
Hey, I have to ask, first of all, I think we're talking about movies or TV, but Reacher.
Yep.
Phenomenal.
Yep.
Phenomenal.
We watched one episode.
Only one. Oh my gosh, there's 3 available. I thought you would have gone through all 3.
We like to parse things out.
Yep.
You are very smart, and let me tell you what. My wife doesn't. She said, "I want more Reacher. I want more Reacher." After we watched the first 3, she's in love with Alan Richson. I don't know if you knew that or not.
Sure,
Alan Richson.
Just so happens that I happen to have access from Amazon to all 8 episodes. So guess what?
Oh,
we watched all 8 episodes. I won't talk about it beyond 1 because you've only seen 1, but there are 3. The series has the season. It's got a different feel about it, doesn't it? Because it's not just Reacher anymore. It's him and his former team of investigators.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we haven't hit that yet. We were just he was in a small town, and this woman she had a bloody face, and she was being carjacked, and he went over there and took care of the carjackers real fast. The look he gets on his face, he just smashes the window and pulls the car and pummels him. You're like, yeah!
I texted Tommy about it. And when I texted Tom, he said, we're watching it right now. I guess I was so excited. I said, I just love how the guy kicked the carjacker's ass. So hopefully by that point you had seen that scene.
Oh, yeah, we did.
What a great scene.
Yeah, that's the only one we saw so far.
Okay. So it is a different feel, I will tell you. But, it's a different book, different stories. This is actually book 11 by Lee Child. This is not, it doesn't go 1, 2 through 20, whatever that he's done. He's done a lot. The first one was the first book, Killing Floor. The second season is book 11, which is Bad Times and Trouble, I believe it's called. Okay. So, it's already renewed for season 3. So what else could you ask for?
I tell you what, that guy is terrific.
And it's interesting how you read things about how he was thinking, I'm not getting the role because I'm only 6'3".
They have him looking like a monster.
He
looks so huge, and however they shoot it, he looks just enormous.
Because Reacher in the books is 6'5", and everybody made a big deal about that when Cruise, Mr. 5'7", played Jack Reacher in not 1 but 2 movies. Now look, I didn't know of anything of the character back then. It was fine. I mean, it was a good movie to me. But clearly the fans of the books did not like Tom Cruise in that role. You got Alan Richson walking. You notice how he kind of stiff, and from behind especially, it's like, you just do not want to mess with this guy.
No.
He's
so
huge.
I don't know if they do some CGI or something to make him just look so enormous when he walks down a street. He's just
I think he's just surrounded by Hollywood people. So
that's true. They're all tiny.
He appears
that is true. That is true. Now, one of the attempts that I made to get back into the conversation, I heard Alex talking about somebody who's 5'6", who's had some trouble, been in trouble, or who are you talking?
Danny Trejo.
Danny Trejo.
Oh yeah, he's only 5'6".
I know.
I know you think of him as this giant tough guy. Well, I guess that's why he needed the grenade.
Well,
there
you go.
Eat these people because I'm so small.
Why did you bring him up? He's not in trouble or anything, is he?
No. I just I have this account that I follow, historic vids, I think it's called, and they just started talking about him and that he was dealing heroin at 7, and he started doing heroin at 12, and he was incarcerated for like 10 years. He used a grenade for a robbery. He had a rough life.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad that he's not in trouble. I could see him avoiding trouble because if you haven't already seen it, I believe I it's got to be one of the streamers by now. Inmate Number One. It's a documentary on Danny Trejo.
Oh, really? That would be interesting.
Where you are going to learn everything about this guy. It's no holds barred.
Oh.
And every city that he goes to, because he was here actually for a convention recently in the last couple of months, Minneapolis Comic-Con or Twin Cities Con or whatever. Apparently he stops by wherever the big prison is around to have a talk with the inmates everywhere he goes. So he hasn't forgotten where he's come from, which is great. I guess maybe it keeps him in check too. It's a reminder of what the hell that he got out of, luckily.
I think I read somewhere that he's been sober for 30 plus years or something.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So he does avoid trouble.
And he is in everything, which is great. I mean, it's really funny. I mean, he does commercials. He does everything. He's got Trejo's Tacos, which is a food truck business, I believe. But as Tom probably already knows, and maybe he's been on the family podcast, but he is a great guy too. I've only interviewed
great guy. A very nice guy.
He realizes how lucky he is to get out of the shitstorm that he was in.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh my God. So you mentioned him as Spy Kids or something, Alex?
Yes.
Is that what he was in?
He's Machete.
Yeah.
Oh, Machete doesn't text. That's one of his famous lines. Machete don't text. Well, there was that fake trailer for Grindhouse that was Machete, and it was so well received that they made a movie out of it. And I think there have been 2 Machete movies so far, and they're trying to get Machete Goes to Space made as well. So we'll find out.
Machete Goes to Space. Cool.
But whatever works.
He works a lot with Robert Rodriguez, and he is in Spy Kids. He's in Desperado. I mean, he's a great actor too. I mean, he really is good at what he does. So I'm glad to see. But yes, Inmate Number One.
Officer Dave says that the reason that Mr. What's his name in Reacher looks so huge is because of a specific way that they're taught to walk in the honor guard that makes you look bigger.
That makes
chest out, back straight. It gives you the illusion of being larger.
Well, it's
you ruffle your feathers like a
Bas-
grouse.
It's like how you see guys walking around the gym.
Yep, exactly.
I mean, literally, it's like this the whole time.
Yep.
Of course, I'm about 1/10 the size of Reacher, but yeah. Well, I mean, the military part, I mean, you get a lot of that backstory in this season, whereas the first season was more of his childhood and who he was and how he became who he became from his childhood. So I don't know if Officer Dave, I know he's a big fan. I know he's seen the first season at least twice. We actually watched the first season again before we got to season 2 because it has been a while. But again, they're already working on season 3, which is hopefully going to come sooner because hopefully there's not going to be an actors or writer strike in between.
Yeah, that'd be great.
So yeah, it's such a great series, man. Oh my God. I can understand why you pace it though, because you feel this void when it's over. And for us, I mean, we're just lucky enough to have the access to all 8 of them, but now there's this huge void. Now we got to wait. But he is doing movies now too. And he was in the last Fast and Furious movie, Alan Ritchson, but he's got one coming up with, might be Guy Ritchie. He's got one coming up with him and Henry Cavill. He's going to be in something. So I think this role is huge for him. This is a huge role.
Yeah, I agree. Sure. What's his name again?
Alan Ritchson, R-I-T-C.
Alan Ritchson plays Jack Reacher.
Yes.
And you said he was in the honor guard?
No, Officer Dave is in the honor guard.
Oh, officer.
But he's doing the honor guard walk in the movie to appear large.
And his character Jack Reacher is a military guy.
Yes.
Right.
He's belong from the 110th Special Investigations Unit. He was an MP.
There you
go.
go.
I don't read a lot. I should, but boy, it seems to me like that's the sort of book that might hold my interest.
Yeah. That's
and there's
true.
a lot of them. There's a lot of Jack Reacher books.
Yeah, we just finished up Lawman Bass Reeves,
which I haven't caught yet.
That's a very interesting story. I get it was based on a true character.
A true character, yeah. A real character.
Yeah, he was a black slave who ended up being a U.S. Marshal. And in real life, they skipped through a lot of his life. He had 10 kids.
Oh, I didn't know.
The wife that we know in the show died, and he was remarried again.
Oh God!
Yeah, and he arrested his own kid because his kid had murdered his wife.
Oh God!
Oh my God! And none of this was in the show.
None of that was in the show. They did not go through that.
Season two.
Oh, because who was the guy that played?
His name is David Oyelowo.
Really good.
I'm never going to be able to say that name.
Yeah, it took me a long time to get it right. David Oyelowo.
He is so good in that role.
He's been in he's been around a long time. Probably the most high profile role he had was he played Martin Luther King in the movie Selma.
Oh, okay.
And there was a lot of controversy that year because he should have been nominated, but he wasn't. But the guy is in a lot, and so it's good. It's good, and obviously he's used that star status that he got from Selma to really get into some interesting projects and getting projects made, especially with Taylor Sheridan.
Yeah,
for this.
Paramount's got him. Taylor Sheridan is Paramount. There's no doubt about that.
He sure can write a TV series. So when we finish something like this, we don't want to. We'll watch more probably a Reacher now.
Oh God, yes.
Because a lot of series now are only 8 to 10 episodes.
And Reacher unfortunately is only 8.
It is 8. Yeah.
The first 3 are available now, so you can watch a couple more before the next one drops on Friday. I don't know if you'll do that, but that's your option. That's your option. So. But we got other movies coming out as well. Maestro, Bradley Cooper's picture, is dropping on Netflix tomorrow.
What's that all about?
It's Leonard Bernstein.
Oh, okay.
He Cooper co-wrote, directed, and starred in this, and he looks just like Leonard Bernstein. The only giveaway, he just disappears into the character so much. The only giveaway is his eyes. You can't change Bradley Cooper's eyes. So other than that, it's like, my God, Cooper's a good actor, man. There's no question about it.
He is.
So it's not really a biopic about Bernstein. It's about his marriage to Felicia Montalegre, another name I practice pronouncing. And Carey Mulligan plays her. And as it turns out, Bernstein was having affairs with men during the marriage, but somehow those kids stuck together. And so it's really about the personal ups and downs of the marriage. And you get a little into the whole West Side Story. He was a Broadway composer, classical composer, et cetera, et cetera. Just a fascinating life. Really, obviously, a legendary composer. So it starts tomorrow on Netflix.
Well, he wrote
West Side Story. That as well. Yeah, he did the music for West Side Story, and Leonard and Stephen Sondheim did the lyrics, and then somebody else wrote the book of the play. There's a lot of good things coming out here. I have to run. Sorry, in and out real quick.
I'll do my impression of Tim Lammers.
Tommy and Tevin. And Andy, we'll see you on Friday. Ralph and Catherine, Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
All righty. We'll chat with you other 3 guys on Friday.
Sounds good, Timmy. Thank you.
Yeah.
Have a good day. Bye. I have a question for the doc. And I already told Tevin and AJ and Brittany this morning. Yesterday, I got on an elevator. And I was on the elevator, and it's going down. It stops at like the 7th floor. And this guy walks on the elevator, and he's standing right next to me. And the top of my head was even with about that much lower than his shoulder. How tall was that? He had to be over 7 feet tall.
Oh, yeah.
The human head's what, about 8-9 inches, something like that on average in length?
Yeah, but a 7-foot guy, he's got a 10-inch head.
Yeah. It all depends on proportionality.
Yeah.
I'm not kidding you. This guy was.
Yeah, I've seen him before. He is tall. Oof, he's tall.
He's at least a foot taller than I am. At least he might have been around 7'1", 7'2", something like that. Wow. And he gets on, and he's just the nicest guy. And, hey, how you doing? How's everything going?
Yeah, he's got the Swedish chef accent.
Yeah, he does have a Swedish chef accent.
That's not surprising.
But I was wondering. I was asking Tevin this morning. That guy's got to have played basketball somewhere.
Oh, for sure. Basketball, or being down in Florida, maybe a collegiate volleyball player.
Yeah, maybe
another idea, but
yeah, well, but not all tall people play basketball.
No,
it's true.
Most of them. The guy looks very athletic.
When I see tall guy, I go, "Oh, she played," and I think to myself, I shouldn't prejudge like that. Maybe he's just an exec at one of the corporations here. But
so, I have a question for you: where do you go buy pants when you're 7'2"?
You get them tailored, I think.
I guess
big and tall stores. I guess
big and tall, 7'2".
But I remember when you're that tall, it's probably the bigger and the taller store.
Yeah.
I think we had this conversation, me and Joe in the chat a couple weeks ago. We were talking about another guy who was like 7 foot something. And I did some calculations, and I think I determined that it's like in your, like, if 7'2"-ish, your the inseam would be like 40 inches, something like that. And I looked, and Joe was like, "Oh, this is where I buy my big and tall stuff." And I looked, and it didn't go anywhere near 40 inches. So no, you have to get it at like an ultra specialty store or have them specifically tailored for you with that.
I need a 32 inseam. I can't believe that somebody would only need a 40. That was that tall.
Well, 8 inches is a lot of extra leg.
Yeah, it's a lot of extra leg.
Well, because it's like your legs, I think it's like 40% of your height or something like that. So, you just do the quick math.
Didn't we just talk about this? That's an orphan size.
There you go.
Orphan sizing.
There's not enough research money to research 40 length pants.
And you hear a lot of times too, Shaq will, especially if it's high school kids that are athletes that are having trouble buying either shoes or, clothing because they're so tall. He's like, I went through this as a kid. And so he'll donate and help parents out, like, hey, go to these stores or check these out and type of things. So, yeah.
Well, even Andy in junior high, you had like a 26-inch waist and a 32-inch inseam.
Yeah.
And it was impossible. He always looked like he was homeless because I couldn't find clothes that fit him.
No, everything was, the waist was always too big because otherwise it was too short.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and Gap and all those didn't have that small of a waist. Everything was, I'd go in and everything was super wide and short legs. I'm like, I need the opposite.
I still good luck finding a 30-34.
Oh yeah, I've given up on that type of thing.
Very, very difficult. If you can find them, buy them because you're not going to find that.
Oh, I would think Gap or somebody or Old Navy. Old Navy has a lot of different sizes.
I forget where we bought my stuff, but it works. But now I'm bordering on 28-34, so
good luck.
I need to get my weight back up.
28-34.
28-34. Yeah, you're not going to find anywhere, I don't think.
No.
And then there's your dad, who's built like a monkey.
Mm.
I just love the fact that I have a 30-inch inseam and 38-inch arms.
I don't know how big my arms are.
That's very monkey-like. I'm an ape, no question.
Simian.
Simian. Yes, I'm simian.
I wonder actually, like, what the average ratio of arm to leg is.
It's not 30, 38. I can guarantee you that. I do have.
You should have been a boxer. Think about all that reach.
Yeah, all that reach I have down low, just punch the hell out of them from the swinging up at his chin.
Just hold on to their forehead and let them do windmills till they're tired.
There you go. Good plan.
Well, your arm span is about equal to your height.
Right.
Yeah.
And then your legs are like 45-ish% of your height, I think, maybe 50.
Yeah, they're in relation to your arms in some way. Maybe 1.5 one arm, something like that. That's Leonardo da Vinci kind of proportions.
Oh.
Well, if your arm span is your height, but that includes your shoulders, though, and your legs are about half of your height, then your arms should be slightly shorter than your legs.
And mine are 8 inches longer.
That is interesting. You don't
How
have
did that even happen?
Your legs are short.
My legs are short, but my arms are also way longer than they should be.
Yeah, I mean, well, that's definitely a Barnard thing, is the shorter legs.
Yeah, we do have short legs.
A lot of
in
men
our
have
family.
short legs.
Yeah,
No
I'm the
question.
opposite. When I sit down, I lose like 5 feet of height.
That's the deal. All right, what else is going on in the world? Anything we should cover?
Oh, apparently there's a new scam going out around.
A scam? Whoever heard of it?
Wherever you live, power company, whatever you have.
Mm-hmm.
Apparently they're calling and saying that they're going to turn off your electricity within the hour if you don't pay your bill.
Oh,
good.
And people will say, I paid my bill. I've got it on my bill pay or whatever. I know I paid my bill. Well, we don't have any evidence of it. And there's a truck in your area. They're coming to close down they're going to shut off your electricity right now. And people are panicking. And some people are like, oh, that's not true. I paid my bill.
Of course. Yeah.
Let me call you back. And they've got the number of the power company cloned. So it looks like they're calling. And when you call back, it's going to a call. It sounds like a call center.
Oh, sure.
And it's a scam.
God.
Yeah, that's why I never like callback numbers and stuff like on emails. I don't do those. I go to the official company website and get the number from there.
Yeah.
Because you never know.
Well, I remember yelling at the bank for calling me, and I said, "I don't know who you are."
Yeah.
Or sending me an email.
You could be anyone.
What's all this? It's just absolutely not. And banks are stupid when it comes to that sort of stuff. I don't get it.
I worked at a bank in mid 2000s, and we were still using monochrome text only, no mouse systems from like the 80s.
Oh.
And I doubt most banks, especially bigger banks, have changed a whole lot. Everything's always 20 years in the past because, well, for banks especially, it's like, we need to vet this new software for 5 years because a single glitch can wipe out hundreds of millions or billions of dollars in, wealth. So it's got to be bulletproof, but that also means we never update ever.
Yeah.
No, I can guarantee you if my father, when he was living in his assisted living home, had gotten that phone call, he would have given him a credit card.
Oh, no question.
He would have been so worried about not having heat or air conditioning or something. He would have.
Well, in Minnesota, people should know that I believe power companies and gas companies are legally not allowed to shut off your stuff during the winter.
Correct. Which I've already entered that period, even though there's no snow or
once it gets below like a certain temperature, I forget what it is, but they cannot shut it off even if you don't pay.
Good luck with the shutting off.
So I have a question. If you do give me your credit card information, you're screwed from now on. Then you're going to
cancel the credit card. Yeah,
right.
Mm-hmm.
Because they could use it and use it and use it until you cancel it. Correct.
Yep.
Well, it depends on the credit card company of the bank too, because some of them are really good about catching that sort of thing. I mean, some of them are too good. You go to the next town over and you use your credit card and they're like, I think you might have been kidnapped by the Russians.
I used to get in fights with US Bank when I was in college because I would go like pay for gas in Fargo and then pay for gas back in Wisconsin. They'd be like, we've detected fraud. We're freezing your account for the next 3 days. And I'm like, I got to get back to Fargo. So I'm going to need you to unfreeze. So yeah, they do have security measures in place, but people are getting so good at scamming. There's an article going out where they found a letter A in a different alphabet is different than ours, but it looks the exact same.
They'll put like a Cyrillic A down, or like a Greek A, or something like that.
I think it's the first one you said, and they'll send you, hey, respond to this email, so it looks like it's from such and such bank, but it's really a spam email, and then they're getting everybody's information that way as well. So,
evil geniuses is what they are.
Yep.
I had an interesting bank experience a while back. We were at one of the banks. We're getting rid of we're changing a safety deposit box. And you have to go in, you have to have both husband and wife there. You have to have your identification, first male born, or there's just a huge amount of information you have to have there. So we're giving them all this information. And this woman takes my driver's license, and she has a spiral notebook. And she writes my driver's license. I assume my driver's license number down in this spiral notebook. Then she's writing, and then she pulls up a computer screen. She's writing something else down from the computer screen. I said, what's with this book? She said, I lock this up it's all locked up. Don't you worry about it. I said, tell you what, that page that you just wrote on, you're going to tear out and shred before I leave. She goes, I have to have this because I have information on the other side. I said, no, you're going to shred that because what are you doing? It was the stupidest thing I'd ever heard in my life. I can't believe that it was going on. I was just flabbergasted by this. But she photocopied the other side, tore it out,
Mm-hmm.
shredded it. I washed it, shredded. So what a bunch. There's fascinating things go on in banking. They make you kill yourself for a password. But
God,
man.
yeah.
And they're writing stuff down. That's bizarre. That was weird.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I suppose that is true.
Are they
isn't it?
stopping safety deposit boxes? I thought they were.
No,
Some
the bank
places
is being rebuilt, and they're
Oh.
moving it's a machination you had to go through. An hour.
Wow.
The bank is moving?
Yeah, they're tearing down this bank. Yet when you have a lease for a bank can't move location, so they're building a new bank next to the old bank so that they're at the same address.
Oh yeah, safe deposit boxes, Chase. You can't get them anymore. If you have them, you can keep them, but you can't get them.
Oh,
really?
No, you can.
Not at Chase. They're discontinuing.
Oh, a Chase.
Discontinuing new safe deposit boxes for new customers at Chase.
Huh.
Why would they do that?
It's probably a real estate thing. You know, a box takes up physical space.
Yeah.
Huge responsibility associated with these boxes.
That too. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, and if you don't move your box and there's something in your box goes into some locked, secure place that you can get it. But it sounds to me like they're an absolute nightmare. It's the 21st century. People want to go virtual, and this is something that holds them to bricks and mortar, and they want to get rid of it. Yeah, makes sense.
Okay. Well, I suppose. Yeah.
See,
I would imagine.
If I had like some extremely valuable thing that I needed locked up so no one could ever get, what I would do is I would dig like a labyrinth underneath my house. And so
too many video games.
In the first room, you have to shoot an arrow at the target, but you have to shoot it through a fire first, or else the target won't activate. In the second room, you have to push these boxes so they're arranged in a specific way. That sort of thing.
Yeah. Or you can, you can bore a hole in your basement slab and drop a little safe in there, and nothing's going to melt if it burns down.
And to get into that room, you have to like grab the little bookshelf, a bookend thing that's out and slide.
Secret passage.
Yeah. There's several false books, but 5 of them impale you with spikes.
Yes.
One of them opens the door. And in order to know which one is which, you have to decipher a note.
I like it. It's poisoned on one side.
The poison book.
You guys just made me think of an old Get Smart episode where a guy comes out, he's holding up his hand like this, and the hand is steel. It's not a human hand.
Mm-hmm.
So he comes up to Maxwell Smart and he goes, "I suppose you know what they call me." And he goes, "Lefty." What a great line that was. "No, the craw. The craw." And he goes, "The craw." That show was phenomenal.
I don't know why. I've never actually seen Get Smart, but I say missed it by that much all the time.
Missed it by that much. Mm-hmm. That's exactly what he said.
I've never seen Get Smart. Well, I saw. Didn't they have
a movie?
Steve Carell.
Yeah. So when you say Get Smart,
he must have said it in that. That must be why.
So it was a Don. What the hell was his name that played Maxwell Smart? Don
Adams.
Was it Don Adams?
Yep. It was Don Adams.
Excellent. God, that show. I never missed that show because it was very, very funny. Because this guy's a secret agent, supposed to be this brilliant secret agent, and he's just an imbecile. Mm-hmm. Very, very funny. It was really a good. I'm kind of surprised they didn't bring that back.
Well, it did. 2008, they made the movie.
And I feel like they had a version of that with the Pink Panther and
they tried to do Pink Panther.
Not Steve Carell. Who's the guy?
Who was it?
Famous big white guy with white hair. And he was kind of
Leslie Nielsen, right? Was it Leslie? Steve Martin.
Steve Martin. There we go.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
So they tried to bring back Get Smarter.
No, so he did Pink Panther, but that was kind of that Get Smart type of feel where it's supposed to be the sophisticated detective chasing down a criminal, and he's more dumb than he is brilliant. Yeah.
Pink Panther and Get Smart are very similar in a lot of ways, for sure.
They are.
I suppose that is true.
Was it Monk that was along those same kind of lines too?
No, Monk was a genius, but he had OCD, so he was
so he was socially inept.
He was a weirdo, but he was a genius and he solved cases.
Are there any new shows coming out? Because look, I mean, we luckily picked up Reacher just when Lawman Bass Reeves, or Lawmen Bass Reeves, it's called. Are there anything you guys picked up on like series or movies that have come out? Anything like that?
Lindsay's been watching a series, or what's the name of it? It's just a minute. I texted her and I got it. It's called Pretty Hard Cases. And these are two women detectives, and the one is an absolute imbecile, and she just has poor social skills, and just fumbles around through these cases, and it has some serious elements to it, but it has this comic relief in with it. It's pretty well done, and they show, I thought, a very sweet relationship between the two women as friends, not having the obvious woke part to that, and where they were just right. To work together and support each other. I mean, I think it's very well done in its own way. It's not the best thing in the whole world, but it's a funny kind of a show in its own way.
So I have to ask you guys a question, because I was thinking about this the other day, and I don't really have an answer. So do you guys, whether it's your wives, your girlfriend, whatever, do you tend to like the same kinds of shows?
At times, but I feel like a lot of times there's not. Like right now, I'm going through a huge action movie kick, and she's not into that. So, but yeah, I would say overall, not really.
I think Melissa and I pretty much are on the same page when it comes to, I mean, there's difference. Like she doesn't like The Simpsons, for example. Yeah, she just doesn't like it.
She married you and not like The Simpsons.
Yeah, it's impossible.
But like we just started Futurama, which is basic. It's like The Simpsons in space, and she likes that. Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah, we finished up Home Improvement, and we were like, well, what next? And she's just like, hey, why not watch Futurama? I'm like, okay, sure.
You and Home Improvement, you used to watch that and laugh like a hyena.
You did.
It still holds up after all these years.
No, my biggest problem is she'll fall asleep while watching something within about 5 minutes.
Oh no!
It takes 3 days to watch one episode, and I'm like, I'm just going to watch this without you, and you can catch up. Or
my problem is, when Lindsay and I first met, she said, "Hey, let's go to the movies." And of course, as a young man, she's a beautiful woman, still is a beautiful woman. You do anything to be around her, spend time with her socially. So I said, yeah, let's go to the movies. So the first movie she took me to was Frances. This was the story of the actress Frances, who was falsely accused of being mentally ill and had a frontal lobotomy. So that was the first. I said, well, and she was assaulted in a mental institution cell. Blah blah blah. It was not uplifting. No. So I left there, depressed. And she says, "Oh, let's go to the movies again." I said, "Oh, I know, honey, I'd love to go to the movies again." So what do we go to next? Sophie's Choice.
Wow.
Sophie's Choice, where the lead character has to choose, the concentration camp. In this backdrop of absolute horror and depression, she has to choose between her two children, which one's going to die, So that's the second one. Then I said, let's go to the movie again. Oh, then we went to see Out of Africa. Absolutely pointless. Just pointless. And at that point I said, no more movies. So no, we do not jive when it comes to what movie she wants to go see. She wants to go see depressing stuff, and I am going to go see that.
Yeah, I am not a depressing movie kind of guy at all. We stopped watching Walking Dead because I was like, this is just like downer after downer. Why would I want to watch this?
One of my favorite things about the movie you were just talking about, Out of Africa, at the beginning of the movie, it says no animals were killed during the filming of this movie. Tons of humans were, but no animals.
No animals.
Like, what? What the hell? But the reason I brought that up to you guys is Catherine and I tend to like the same, whether it's comedy, it's drama, whatever it is, we tend to like the same. I mean, there are a couple of different things, but not many. I mean, you and I, it's to the point actually that she and I like everything pretty much the same, that I can be sitting there watching about 15, 20 minutes of a show and thinking to myself, this show sucks. And about a minute later, she goes, this show sucks. I'm like, oh my God.
No, sometimes shows just suck.
A lot of shows do suck.
I said sometimes shows just suck.
Well, they do. There's no question about it. Sometimes it's like, oh my God. But so it's kind of common for you to like the same kinds of movies.
Yeah, I would say I can I'm more likely to tolerate her shows and enjoy her shows than she will my.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's kind of the same for us. Yeah, like we watched. I always forget the name of the show. Is it General Hospital? No, Grey's Anatomy. We watched Grey's Anatomy for a while. And it was, it's fine. It's not something I would watch by myself, but it's like, it's Melissa likes it. We had it on the background. I was paying more or less attention to it, whatever.
The first time I saw that get turned on, they were
two
people were having sex. Two people were having sex in a closet in the hospital.
Yeah, that was the first episode, I think.
For you, it's probably different.
And I thought to myself, how did I miss this? I was a resident. I went through all this. I saw none of that stuff. None of the drama. You don't argue with the attendant. I mean, it was bizarre. Yeah. It was a bizarre. I said, who's making this up?
Wait, so that's not just a direct representation of your life.
It really wasn't. I got sick of it. I said,
it really wasn't.
Where was the sex sex in the closet?
Well, after being up for 48 straight hours, you don't want to sleep with someone. You just want to sleep.
That's right. True that.
I suppose it is. All right, we got one more minute. Anybody got something they want to wrap it up with?
Ooh. Vikings going to the Super Bowl?
Are the Vikings going to make the playoffs
this year?
They just won't be a direct play.
So are they still? They're not out though.
Technically, we're still in it, but we're also technically still able to get a top 10 draft pick this year. So it could go one of two very dramatically different ways this year. I'm not holding my breath for any Super Bowl.
That's a bad position to be in.
Those last 3 games were dreadful. I mean, they were just dreadful games.
Yeah,
got beat 3-0 by Chicago.
Honey,
what is
just
that?
Be happy that you.
Oh, they did. Oh,
yes.
And they just beat the Raiders 3-0.
Yeah.
So
and then you got 3 touchdown lead basically on Cincinnati, and they come back and kick our ass in the fourth quarter, tied it up, and then won it in overtime because we were totally incompetent. All right, that's a good wrap up. So
not that I'm following professional football with the Vikings, but
yeah, there you go. We'll talk to you tomorrow.
Bye.
Every time I hear the same, reminds me how you talking.